both these teams have gotten back on track, and now we get to see which one is going to be able to make it to the destination.
But because they had that slow start, only one of them can go to Brazil, right? You know, you need to be top 3. You know, 2nd and 3rd seed are going to play in the America's Cup. You need to be number 1 to go to first stand. One of them will lose here today and be out in 4th. You know, they started in that lower bracket because of those struggles in the Swiss stage. So now they have to take each other out if they want to keep those dreams alive.
And then you go to the expectations of the teams placed on themselves. Team Liquid, this roster, you look at it on paper, you think, yeah, this is a roster that should be able to compete for that top spot. LYON as well. Didn't expect these teams to be at this position at this stage in the tournament. But like you said, only one can continue forward. I'm hoping that we get a full 5-game series because we had all 3-0s last week. I think if we're going to have a close one, this is the start of playoffs.
Let's see if we get a split on the Azir-Orianna trade. It's interesting because the topic of Azir, since Chovy commented on it and was like, yeah, he doesn't scale that strong anymore. You know, I'm like, well, if Chovy's, bad mouthing
well, that guy's pretty good. So
and everyone's like, well, let's rethink maybe this prio on the champ. So Orianna does take priority, and we'll see. Would you rather go like Akali kill, lane or something like that?
I think still play Azir.
Or are you still gonna play it? Because I do like some of the strategies where you try and build like really big side lane pressure on her and trying to attack her that way. But we could just get the normal trade.
Yeah, just because it's Saint, I feel like we would probably still get Azir. I do always kind of see him as a pretty big Azir guy. Nocturne is always going to be a possibility, and they are going to take it away as a denial pick. So now I'm believing more in the Akali that you're talking about. Obviously, it is a denial of that Orianna Nocturne combo, but when you're going to be going Nocturne, you want to have divers alongside it. You don't just want to have a random Nocturne in there and then a front to back. So I do think that raises the possibilities of things like the Nico, of things like the Akali to get in there and try to play aggressive alongside it.
Yeah, Nico banned away, but the Akali still is on the table. And I love the Orianna first pick because it almost forces your opponent to go for the Nocturne. Now we can get jungle counter pick here for Jose Diodo. Currently hovering the Wukong, and it is locked in.
Yeah, they've had some pretty good combos between Jose and Quid. I mean, even from their first game in the LCS, they had pretty strong synergies. We'll see. Very good team fighting here, but this doesn't give any tells with Orianna Wukong. Very standard opening here. Going to be some very strong, 5-5 team fighting.
We get the Shot Kong.
LYON is, I like the Shot Kong.
Yeah.
It's no Knockwave.
Yeah, they're both good names, but,
LYON has...
One of them is a good name.
Maybe a little biased as the inventor of the name.
Okay, but Orianna being delivered with a Rakan as well. Like, this engage is getting really, really strong from Team Liquid.
The Grand Wave. The Grand Entrance, Shockwave. Nah, it's no Shot Kong.
Keep trying, buddy. It's okay.
We'll figure it out
Maybe
eventually.
in your own time, you know?
Give it a few years, I'm going to get one in there.
I like some of these other divers that they are like going through with the hovers, but you know where it's going to end up.
Yeah.
It's going to end up with the trade. The Emperor of Shurima, in the end, is going to go into Orianna once again.
It is interesting, though, while that is not surprising, I do still think you need some sort of dive buddy, right? So now you're looking more at like a carry style top lane for Dokla, something to be able to bring in and actually pair with that. If you could get some hard engage, there's still things like the Rumble that Dokla obviously really likes. You can go towards Mbessa, but he hasn't played that. You can go towards Renekton, but you need something to be flying into that backline. I think otherwise Inspired will be a little bit out on his own. And it's interesting too, because last time he was in this situation, he did this build that was a little bit controversial where he was going for Abyssal and kind of like heavy CDR. He was going more this tank style.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's something to like a Nautilus for Isles here.
Yeah.
Like a Varus Nautilus bottom lane. Get that point and click. Can be very effective versus Orianna as well if you can get a good angle. And it gets some engaged supports to go into this Rakan.
Yeah, we even saw the Nautilus hovered, and then they switched to the Azir. Now, Poppy banned from Team Liquid, Alienware. Let's see if they ban away something like the Nautilus as well, because that might be in their mind, too, with their last ban, as LYON so far have looked at bot lane with Jhin and then the Rumble. So they do take away Morgan's Rumble, give Dokla some more insurance there in the top lane.
Yep, definitely a good combo with what TL are already showing here. And Morgan has been a big topic. Morgan is a huge, huge problem for most top laners, and I expect that to be true as well here for Dokla. He hasn't had like the best laning phases since he has, rejoined the LCS online. So we'll see what they can get. Of course, they are red side, so you can save Supreme counter pick, the last counter pick,
Well, in
for
Douglas'
him.
own words, when he was on Pros, he was like, you can take top lane out of the game, and it's the same game in this current meta right now. So I'm sure that he's comfortable with whatever he's going to go for. But the Nautilus is banned away, so they did follow that same track, and that means that Isles is going to have to find something else if he wants to be some of that additional engage for the team.
This is interesting because Bard serves two purposes. Like, you can also attack side lanes with Nocturne, blow people's flashes, or you can protect the Varus from like Wukong and Rakan engages with defensive Bard ults. They don't have to go that option though. They are going the full offensive, and since the Nautilus is banned, just go Leona. That is super long range. It's not point and click on the Orianna, but you should be able to hit those.
Yeah, and is good setup, of course, for the Varus as well. If you can land any sort of CC from the Leona, then you're guaranteed to hit the Piercing Arrow, you're guaranteed to hit the Chains of Corruption. All of that is going to come through. And Kais is the option here for LYON. So when you're playing against something like the Nocturne, a lot of times people think, okay, I need to play something defensive, but sometimes it's better to just pair with that dive, just go in with them. Have a lot of repositioning tools as well with both the E-Invis and the ulti to try to stay safe. And the question is, can you really get a lot out of this last pick? With Renekton coming through, the standard that we're seeing these days really is just the Gnar as kind of that answer in topside. And so I'm curious if Dokla's going to go for something a little bit more spicy or if he's going to bring something else out. But Morgan, that's his most played by far in his career, is that Renekton, and it's his best champ. So I just don't know that they're going to get a ton out of this top lane counterpick, unless it's Varus.
I mean, they're hovering all 80 carries, which means it would be
top?
Varus top if they lock in another marksman.
That would be hype.
So it was nerfed. It's not as crazy impressive as it used to be, but it's still very
pretty impressive.
And Dokla has put a lot of time in solo queue into a lot of range top champions, as a lot of top players do. So this one will be very, very exciting to watch.
This is really interesting because I do think it's miserable to lane against this champion. Percent health damage, really good harass, can push the wave in, can take plates. But that being said, how does the composition actually play out? Like, Nocturne feels so disjointed from what the rest of the team is kind of doing. You have Varus, Xayah, who feel like they want to disengage and kite back. You have Nocturne, who's just kind of randomly flying in by himself. And so I do wonder if Inspired's going to be in kind of this awkward situation where he's just kind of playing almost like a tank Nocturne again, like he did last time, because it does feel very disjointed. And yeah, you can bully in the 1v1 generally very heavily, but it's not a 1v1 game. And when you think about the 5v5, you have Rakan, Wukong, Orianna, so much powerful engage that now has 3 prime targets between the Xayah, the Varus, and the Azir. If you can connect on any of them, they could be in trouble.
So I just got alerted from stats that this is the first top Varus we have had in LCS history.
In history?
Even though we are all traumatized and everyone's been like, oh my god, I've seen so much of this in solo queue
before.
Yeah, everyone's like, wow, I've seen this so much before in solo queue, but this is the first in actual LCS game that someone has been allowed to do this. Now, of course, yeah, it was toned down again a bit since it was the most egregious form, but still very, very abusive.
And it's Big Dokes bringing it out. What a way to start finals weekend. Reminder, loser goes home. Winner is going to Brazil and continues their lower bracket run here in the first stand kind of title contention. If you're able to step up to C9, these are the teams that we're expecting to be able to do that. They got to win here first. But with that being said, early game expectations, I want to start framing some of those of what we can kind of see from these junglers, because Nocturne usually I don't think of doing much.
We can see them
almost
farm.
Same with Wukong, yeah?
I think that's what we can see, but I'm just interested to see what build Dokla's going to do, because he is going PTA. I'm expecting it to be Dusk and Dawn. That's kind of the rush I'm still seeing the most. It's not just like the Blade of Rune King old stuff. It will be more AP, which has so much % health damage, and still can be very abusive in lane.
And both junglers, it's even more critical to farm here because they're both level 6 junglers and want to be able to have, if you have Nocturne level 6 for Inspired, if there's no wards and you don't know which side of the jungle Inspired's on, you have to assume he's going to cover this Varus. And you cannot even go for a gank on the Varus. It's a barrier Varus, so if Nocturne is anywhere close and can counter gank, then you will lose the 2v2. So you really want to try and get some information on the enemy jungle in this game. And the Raptor ward here will do enough of that to know his clear path. So you will be able to be like, oh, wait, he should theoretically be on this side of the map at this moment.
Some information to Team Liquid. We'll be watching the top side, but first we have Raz with the Sidelet interview with Rigby.
That's right, got Rigby with me here, and first note is already the Varus top lane. I know Dokla's been a big advocate for ranged top laners. Thoughts on the pick here?
It seemed great, and then we have been actually on the past 3 weeks of practice, we have been looking for like a champions that can be flexed a lot, and then it was one of them. I think Varus top will be like good here, just generally looking at enemy champions. He can just be like a face tank while doing like enough damage, so it's really good. And then it's really good in terms of like we could like save other picks for the further series. Like we have been actually focusing on winning the BO5, not just one game. And then it's on the process, so I feel happy about it.
And a final question is kind of a Sheepy Sports interview talked about your relationship with Inspired, having worked with him prior, and how kind of like you guys view the game similarly and how you can express that to the team. Can you talk about that working relationship that you have?
I mean, Casper and I are, I don't know, I feel like we're friends, not that much of like a co-worker or something like that. We're just friends, we just talk, we both like to talk about the game a lot. It used to be with Impact too, but now he's on different teams, so we talk about the game a lot. And then, yeah, I don't know exactly what Casper meant by we view the game the same way, but like what we have in common is that we want to win the game in the most simple and easy way possible. And then that's where I think me and Casper aligns a lot, even though sometimes we have disagreements. So I think that's it, probably.
That makes a lot of sense, and I appreciate the time that you spent here. I'm going to send this one straight back to the casters. Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, Raz. Yeah, I mean, I think it's an important game for Dokla because Morgan has been such a point of contention for every team going up against him. He had an incredible series last week, destroyed Castle, and Spawn went to Twitter to kind of shout him out, saying he felt like he completely took Castle out of the series and dominated from the top lane. I thought he was super, super impressive. And when you're going to bring out a pick like this against such a strong player, you have to do well, because this is the kind of performance that Morgan put up last week. And, you know, at 14 stats, plus 544, 7, 1, and 15 throughout the series. He was just dominating Castle, and Castle is considered a good laner.
And Morgan now is on his signature champion. He has over 100 professional games renected, spams this thing. Definitely a signature here, so we'll see him pushing back out as we get the recall for Dokla. And of course, it is / barrier Varus, so Dokla's gonna have to walk his way back to that minion line as it crashes into the wave.
Yeah, early game, Morgan's actually playing just fine into this ranged top lane. He's gonna be matching the CS. Dokla walking all the way will catch some of this wave, but it's essentially even up here in the top side.
Yeah, and he's not going to be going Dust and Dawn, right? Because he has a longsword. So we'll see where he is going to go as far as his build is concerned. But yeah, I mean, Morgan had the earlier base, was able to get right back and push that out one more time, just base again. And he's going to be going in for some early merc treads, probably.
Yeah, interesting that he went for the magic resist. I'm wondering if almost this was like an audible from Dokla, like, get him to build a magic resist, and I'll go for the AD. As Morgan is, again, just kind of pushing Dokla out here. Hits level 6 early. Dokla will trade back big damage.
He misses the cannon off that trade, too. Morgan's doing a good job.
Oh, yeah. And Morgan's able to pick up his. Well done.
Interesting, too, because it's going to be a top-side Scuttle Crab. We saw a little bit of junglers meeting up on bottom side since both their clears are pointed to this half of the map, but topside Scuttle Crab means our usual excitement for the level 6 Scuttle Crab will be a bit dampened.
Okay.
It's not next to the dragon. And so Inspired here poking around, but Core JJ does see him as the dragon does get leashed, and they have the extra information that he was just down here. Meanwhile, Jose getting his extra base off.
I'm kind of interested to see if Dokla is maybe going to go Hexblade. That was kind of like one of the old school builds, and maybe because there is a lot of burst between the Wukong and the Renekton, and he's thinking, hey, I need to build some HP so I don't get one shot or something. But going to be interesting to see how that works out for him, because yeah, thus far it's just dead even, and I feel like to justify the Varus, what it does to your team composition, I think you have to have a pretty dominating 1v1, because I just think that LYON's team comp is going to be way harder to play out, where TL just hard engages, shockwaves any of the squishies, and it's going to look good in a 5v5.
Let's see if he can make himself not too squishy with the barrier and with the build.
Yeah, stack that HP, Dokla. You're going to be in some trouble otherwise. Inspired is topside right now with level 6.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a Nocturne that is constantly threatening the coverage, this is the thing about lane phases. There's so much different when enemy team is playing against a Nocturne, because when they don't have information on Inspired, they're constantly assuming, all right, well, this guy is hovering this laner, and so have to play a little bit differently. Of course, his bot side camps are up. He's got Wolves ready after this red, so might be leaving the area.
And I love watching junglers like Inspired for reasons like this. He just doesn't contest that top Scuttle Crab. He says, I'm not going to go in for that one. Just stay on my camps and keep clearing, where we've seen so many games contested for those early ones. But Inspired is able to pivot and say, no, I'm not going to be the one to go for that one, and is still level 6. He's behind basically a camp from Jose Deodo, but we're still waiting for that first big paranoia. That first ultimate from Nocturne can kind of dictate the tempo that this jungler can, you know, scale through the game with.
And usually you think, oh, they're going to go for the Orianna for sure. It's an Orianna-Azir matchup. This thing always pivots on. Level 6 for Azir, trying to blow the Orianna flash. You have a Nocturne on your team. See if they can get that summoner, but there's been really good ward coverage all around mid lane. So nobody getting summoner spells blown early here. We haven't even seen Saint, you know, like go for a shuffle play or anything to try and get it. So everybody's really been keeping their HP quite high to be ready for the move on first dragon. And Inspired does make it with their push up on the bottom lane, and they're going to be able to grab that. So Berserker and Isles walk on over, shred this thing. Dragon number 1 for Lion.
Yeah, Jose just decided to back off. They're going to see if they can find maybe some sort of action as they go back to lane.
Yeah, engage here onto Isles. Huzin's blades in. Jose Deodo is trying to punish, but Isles still thinking enough to walk away.
My idea there, I think Team Liquid are just trying to bait out like a defensive Nocturne ultimate and say, oh, if we harass him enough, maybe we could get Inspired to use the Nocturne ultimate and we'll just back off, but not Inspired says, I'm fine, I'll just keep on farming. Isles is also fine.
Use Shockwave as well, and Saint it can just shuffle away. Okay.
Yeah, gonna be okay. Just Quid pushing in here. It does allow him to get enough pressure that he gets that first plate. We can see Morgan on top side did hold a freeze, so he denied an entire wave there from Dokla. Dokla still is up. And while not much was happening in this early game, our stats team was doing some digging on Dokla. So this is the solo queue record, 9-6 with a 2.4 KDA in solo queue. So has obviously been practicing the pick. But as Kobe said, first time it's been brought out, not just by him, but period in the LCS history in top lane.
I expect better KDAs
yeah,
in solo queue.
2.4.
Who's he been playing against in solo queue? Who's up there?
Don't exist in solo queue. You just right-click forward, so you tend to dial as a ranged top laner. I will say that.
Well, hey, so far he is still getting the shove in that top side.
If we continue to have no more kills,
Okay.
I'm just going to task our stats team with going to look at every opponent from each of those solo queue games.
The deep dive.
Let me see the names.
We need to know their places of birth, their favorite foods.
Were there pro players? Was it Lorlo playing like, you know, AP Bard up there or something? What was going on?
I think Lorlo has played too much AP Bard, so I don't know if he's in Dokla's Elo anymore.
What you got against Bard, Azale?
Nothing. It's got something against Lorlo's Elo. That's the problem.
Fair enough. It's a tough matchup for the Varus top lane, of course. You know.
He's been doing some fun ones.
But Dokla is going for a very defensive build. We were highlighting, like, you know, what that first item might be. Well, we know the boots. He's going for the armor boots here and just going to try and survive.
It's going to be Hexblade.
I mean, that makes sense here with the Tunneler finished, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, to me, it's the old school style. You know, generally when it first popped up a lot, people had been doing this. We had been seeing, you know, some even came out in LEC and various places.
Yeah. Speaking of MasterCard Power Spike, we have one experimental Hexblade here for Inspired. The Nocturne has ult, and that's a flash out from Quid. As Saint looked for the shuffle in the mid lane, Shockwave will trade back some health bar.
Yeah, you got to respect that one because they also have, you know, Inspired was clearing wards. So Quid knows Inspired is close enough too. So to capitalize on that, very good flash there. You have to respect it. Also good play by Saint. We need to get that flash down on the Orianna to expose a possible area to attack. Nice vision toggle here from the observers. Does see the value of all these deep wards.
As now Morgan again gets the stun here onto Dokla, and Chain of Corruption will be flashed. So that Summoner Spell down from Team Liquid Alienware's top laner. Flash forward from Dokla. He fancies himself the first blood solo kill. Big Doke showing up.
First top Varus in the LCS and first blood. It's 11 minutes into the game, but he gets it. Nicely done there. And you see the power of Varus's base kit. Just annihilating health stackers is so easy for this champion. And I do love the rush on tier 2 boots. Plated steel caps, so you can just stand there and shoot and don't have to be too scared. Uses a flash to follow, and that means Team Liquid actually will slip in for the grubs afterwards during the reset. oftentimes even when top laners do get solo kills like that, gonna have to push out the wave after. It takes some more time. So TL, they've swapped LYON up to the top side of the map even before completing their quests, but don't feel like it's too big of an issue.
Yeah, and should be able to complete it here pretty quickly. We can watch this one more time, how the solo kill actually went down. And yeah, just the base damages are so high. I mean, Morgan was trying to go in for an early trade. He tried to slice and dice through Dokla, but Dokla hit him with the piercing arrow even as he went behind. And it was also a trade into bone plating, so the trade went pretty bad. He didn't dodge the Q, didn't dodge the E, and then he realizes, oh crap, I gotta flash out. But at that point, there's just no getting out.
Yeah, it's bone plating, plated steel caps, and he also didn't even have to use his barrier.
Yeah.
So that was not close to
Lock in, Morgan.
Yeah, lock in.
Yeah, I mean, hey, great start for Dokla, though. I mean, that's what was exciting about the draft going into it. I thought it was going to be mostly Inspired making plays to that top side, but Dokla didn't even need the Nocturne ult behind him. He was just able to get the damage himself.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to, stand there and fight when enemies try and make a play on you.
Ground.
The key is hitting all of your abilities, and Morgan had to flash the ultimate, but Dokla hit every single other ability and pops his blight stacks efficiently there. So nicely done.
Is that the secret to winning lanes, Kobe? Is I just have to hit my abilities?
Hit your abilities and
We'll try it.
efficiently use your passive.
The nice point with Varus is really the only ability you have to hit is your auto attack, which, which doesn't always miss. So.
You gotta pop them.
You gotta pop the blight. You gotta hit your E. That one's a tough one.
Sometimes they're
The big circle,
they're wiggling around. They're trying to slice behind you.
Yeah. Facts.
Yeah, I'm on Kobe's side here. You abilities. Sometimes they just go the wrong
Too many
direction.
Varuses. I can't be on your side.
Yeah.
I have to be whatever side the Varus isn't on.
Currently, though, we see the second dragon stacked up now by LYON. So not only that first kill in the top side, it is now 2 Drakes to them with the Infernal and the Mountain. It's going to be an Ocean Soul map.
And this really feels like the type of game that Inspired always preaches about. This is one of the big improvements we've seen from LYON, and oh, never mind. Dokla's under attack.
He is in a 1v2 right now. Jose Deo gets behind him, and in goes Morgan. Dokla's trying to get the damage down, but there's no escape. Shut down to Jose Deodo.
Yeah, good wrap around there. He knows no flash. He just used it to get the last solo kill, so easy target there. Jose does use ultimate, but that's about it. And Wukong on Trinity Force Spike, plenty of damage.
He did die, but now they have the set bonus. They got
Boom.
The double hex blade.
Does that give more ability cooldown for the ult? Yeah. We're going ARAM Mayhem rules here.
The real question is, does it make your jungler come gank for you more? Because then everybody...
Clear your wave.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm covering.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, no, he's holding.
froze.
Hey.
That's the set bonus. Okay.
No.
never mind.
We spoke too soon.
I was going to say, junglers would never do this for you in solo queue. They're pushing that wave, and turns out in pro as well.
It would actually be crazy. You'd have to hold it for so long.
Quid is able to sidestep the Solar Flare. Look from Isles, though.
Look at that. I like the pathway out of base, too. You saw the Varus was going resetting to top side. He's like, all right, never mind.
No.
I guess we are swapping. I'm going down bottom side now.
Currently,
And that turret plate actually goes into the dirt.
Yeah, they lost one topside as
Yeah.
well. A number of plates have actually just died to the minions, so they missed out on that gold on a couple different instances. So it is the slight lead for TL, and I do worry for LYON going into the team fights. We'll see if Dokla can find LYON.
level advantage over Jan. Starts with a couple autos. Does not land the Q, but the E does hit, so Jan chunked out.
Yeah, no ults on Kaisa either, so
Yeah.
a lot less survivability, a lot less mobility. We'll see if that makes a difference for this Rift Herald fight. Dokla, of course, does have his top lane quest completed. And so he's got the extra long cooldown teleport if they really need it.
I'm wondering how Team Liquid's going to respond to this lane swap here, as it's Saint in the top side with LYON's bot lane in the mid.
Yeah, I mean, I think for TL, it's just about the setup of the next dragon, right? You've given up the first 2 for this slight gold lead.
Maybe keeping Morgan alive could be a priority as well. Isles, Zenith Blade, sidestep by Morgan, flash Q, and now LYON's got to fight this one. Morgan's trying to get some damage, but Saint picks up the kill. Nicely set up by Isles.
I have to say, these methodical plays from LYON looking quite good. I like the lane allocations.
Oh, that was a close recall. They were going to try to dive him. He barely got that off.
But it's going to be trade of turret race top side versus bot side. Plates are going down. Inspired's picking up the Herald, and Saint's getting big damage up on the top side. Bot, it looks like they're losing, though. Team Liquid are doing more damage down there as Core JJ spotting out multiple members of LYON, so the turret trade goes in favor of Team Liquid.
Yeah, getting the first turret bonus is quite nice. Remember, LYON got the kill bonus, though. The top laner camp was taken. Teleport very deep behind Saints.
Yeah, Quid had the flash. I was expecting maybe he would go for it, but a deep teleport from Morgan as well. Now the paranoia. LYON are turning it back in onto Quid. Still Shockwave available. Saints got to be careful here. It's damage onto Inspired instead. Flashing over. Quid goes down. Shockwave goes wide. LYON with the counterplay. Dropping the Herald now is another teleport from Dokla to back up from Morgan's flank. Chain of Corruption will go wide. But Team Liquid, they lose their mid laner and also lose that top turret.
Really good read and counter here from LYON. I don't know if they even saw the super deep teleport from Morgan, but Inspired, as soon as this Orianna is walking up at the Azir in the long lane where they don't have a tower anymore, says, fine, we can just ult you. And goes for the more aggressive play. They turn around, they kill Quid instead, and then the deep teleport from Morgan means nothing in the end. I think it was probably just because of the positioning and seeing them Orianna walk up in a long lane that they decided to go for the turn, but it completely flips TL's idea of the play they were going for.
Yeah, it's really nicely done there by LYON. I mean, TL was briefly up 1K. They're now down 700, and 45 seconds until LYON has the ability to grab their third dragon. Yep. You know, if you can move in towards Soul Point, that is going to be big.
I'm trying to remember, was that the first paranoia that we saw? I'm trying to remember if there was an impactful one before that, because that's
that was the first one.
That's a very late paranoia. That was around like 16 minutes into the game. So Inspired just holding that for the opportune moment, and he'll have it up again for this dragon fight because of that experimental Hexblade.
2 dragons as well. Very big advantage here moving towards the mid game, especially with the extra pressure they can get in the side lanes. I mean, Orianna, again, is in the long lane up here. Quid, no flash. So even though they have vision on Nocturne on the bottom side, he can push up now. It's going to become an issue later on. Fight over the setup here, though. Dragon number 3 is huge. Jose into the critical brush here to grab vision first.
We have a teleport flank ward over the Dragon Pit wall, but it's only an Azir that can come in. The composition that LYON drafted, it's really about this Nocturne getting in there.
So Dokla ping to go for the extra wave on top. I think they're just giving it. I think they don't want to try and like retake this vision. It's a little too dangerous.
Oh, Saints.
So I actually agree with them. Once you've given up all the vision entry into this Dragon number 3, I think it's a good call. Dokla just keep on pushing topside, give this one up. Don't want to expose yourself to a bad team fight here when it's, you know, Wukong, Orianna, and Wukong's on 2 items.
Yeah, I think especially with their composition, it's not like they have an Ornner assigned to walk in and retake vision. It would just be Isles walking in first, and it could be an easy setup there for TL, but as a result, things kind of stabilize, and it's a pretty slow-paced game. You know, both teams happy to just play to scale, and I think it means it's going to come down to team fights unless Dokla and Inspired can really create chaos on the side lanes and be able to kind of blow the game open that way.
Yeah, let's see if they can get any extra pressure here. Inspired's next ultimate, especially if they can clean their jungle of wards. I think that's a big thing. Team Liquid have done a good job of getting some of these deep wards. You see both sides of the jungle have the fairly deep buffs actually warded up, trying to get that information to see which side Inspired is hovering. Now with the Scryer's Bloom as well, they do have 100% confirmation. And again, Wukong on 2 items is crazy here. With Sunder Sakai completed, like the team fight power is insane. And so Inspired's kind of just hovering for counter plays.
And the Nocturne on vision is the least scary Nocturne. So just keeping that vision down in his jungle, knowing where Inspired's going. His bot camps are spawning up here, so maybe he decides to go down there instead now.
Lost another plate as well to the minions. So, you know, LYON is being very respectful of these potential moves that could come out. They know that, you know, Kaisa can move to a side lane and ult in to assist. They know that Wukong could be looking for engages, that Core could be coming through a lane. So they are not having the confidence to walk up and actually get these plates. 3 or 4 of them they've lost just to minions so far this game.
It's Core and Quid looking over the wall there for anybody from LYON that walks up, but Saint is still pretty safe here. We'll even heal back up. Nothing to fight over for the immediate future. Baron is on the map, but still a little early to go for that one. So, yeah, you're wondering where that next kind of big fight is going to kick off. We got 3 minutes for the Dragon, and Dokla's still just happily pushing these top lanes. LYON's just happily getting farm onto their Nocturne in their own jungle.
I do like, though, that they just have Quid answering, right? Renekton is just, there's nothing you can really do in that 1v1 past a certain point. The matchup just kind of gets worse because it's percent HP damage, and you kind of have to build HP as the Renekton. So it's very, very difficult in the 1v1. Whereas Quid, even if he doesn't want to take the 1v1, can just kill the wave and kind of ignore him, right? So I think the lane assignments here are smart for TL. They are very clearly just looking to build towards the 5v5, trying to get all these major item completions in. Once Quid is on 2 items, especially as he gets in towards level 16, that engage is going to become so threatening for these squishy carries.
And on top of just getting, Quid into that lane to just farm up those waves, it also gets you away from Saint, who is currently 1.2k ahead in the 1v1. The Saint story has been fascinating to follow this year, because expectations for myself are pretty high as he gets out of a situation there from Morgan. But he had a slow start to the year. I mean, Saint, we are kind of excited about him from what happened in that last best of 3, but even before that, it wasn't looking great for him.
Yeah, it wasn't, but I mean, Inspired gave an interview where he was talking about him. He was saying his mechanics might be the best ever of anyone he's played with. Even better than JoJo, which is the highest possible compliment from Inspired, because this guy loves JoJo and playing with him.
Miss him
and
1, 2, 3.
He was showcasing, what a great Saint series can look like last week. It was 29-1-20, if I recall. Yeah, 29-1-20. Barely put a foot wrong in the entire series, and really did impress. I got to interview him before the match started today, and he said he didn't really know what his job was supposed to be. In the previous weeks, he wasn't really sure how he was supposed to be playing out the game, and now he says he does know what his role is in the team. He does understand his job, and as a result, he thinks he's doing a lot better.
His only death was a Hyphy Azir play where he dove bot turret trying to find a deep shuffle. Maybe tough he's on Azir again. Could be a worrying trend, but he could have had a flawless series.
Yeah, and some of the credit, Raz actually touched on this in his interview with Rigby at the beginning of the day, but the Sheep Esports interview Inspired also credited Rigby, with being able to explain, especially for the Korean players, Inspired's kind of view on the game and getting everybody on the same page. Seems like both teams, we're talking a lot about the LYON side, but the TL side as well. Azael, you talked to Jose as well before this game, and this has been the goal for both these two squads who had really high expectations, was better team play, better synergy, better and more concise view of the game. And so far, the game plans have been fairly parallel.
So far, Inspired is actually in some trouble in this bottom river. Has to pop the Paranoia defensively, but Morgan continues the chase. In comes Jose Deodo, knocking a Warrior Trickster over the wall, but they push Inspired away. He does get the Scuttle Crab, but now this bottom jungle is ripe for Jose Deodo's taken.
Yeah, Inspired turns off the lights there, I think because he's worried about the Killer Instinct coming in from LYON. LYON was trying to trail on the play, so he's worried about that ult coming in, knowing he would get taken out if that was the case. So he holds onto his flash. He does lose his ult, but that means they lose the Dragon. So now the Dragon advantage is gone. Game very, very close. Saint is going to be pushing on the top side. Should get this tower, which will slightly extend their gold lead, but this really is anyone's game.
Yeah, I mean, this is twice in a row now where LYON opt to get the top push instead of contesting at the Dragon. This time it's because Inspired gets pushed out. Last time is more because they couldn't control the vision down. So Team looking to find a way to tie up the Dragons. They're actually in the Dragon race now.
I mean, that is kind of the composition issue, that I was talking about a little bit in Champ Select, is that it is very difficult to play out the 5v5s. You can't really retake vision effectively, with LYON's comp. It's really tough to walk in. You have 3 squishy members who are all incredible to engage on. You have amazing go buttons for TL. So that is why they're playing so heavily through sides, because they have winning side lanes right now. Again, they take the bot lane tower. No one is answering Dokla. So TL either needs to send someone down and answer or force a play on top side. They're not willing to start Baron, so Dokla gets this for free.
Thankfully for Inspired, though, the ult for cooldown for Nocturne is fairly low, so he can, again, try and use that Nocturne to put pressure on any side lane pushing out. And at the moment, perfect information for Team Liquid. They know he's on the top side, so nobody going to expose themselves. Morgan up there will be very, very safe. Beefy Renekton with Flash on top of it is just fine. This mid tower finally gets knocked over.
Yeah, just walk up and
that
auto
was brute force, the Recon Quill.
It's a very elegant looking brute force, Yeah.
The one little auto here,
little feather just floats in.
They brutally get those crystals to explode on the tower.
Carnage. Carnage on the Rift right there. But
You can't blame him. There hasn't been a lot of kills. He's trying to get some play-by-play in. You know?
exactly, yeah. I got to have some fun with it. And I thought maybe I had a moment here because Jose Deodo was looking at this blue buff, but LYON, they have multiple members backing up Inspired. They will prevent the invade.
I want to see about the side lane. Yeah, here we go. Dokla's still pushing.
And Corruption lands. Dokla's trying to get as much damage down as he can. Stacking up the Blight stacks, and now Morgan has to flash out, but LYON with the ulti flies in. Morgan almost goes down. LYON picks up the kill.
This is the play that TL's been looking for a few times. That is why Inspired ulted early to deny that. So they get out to that side lane, they turn it around. But you see the power of Dokla. Didn't even use his flash. Almost took down Morgan, even with everyone coming in.
Yeah, the only issue there for LYON is that, like the timing of that play, because they're not going to get anything else elsewhere on the map, but do get a pretty deep push on the top lane and leading into the Baron. Got the wards up.
And it looks like Dokla is going to be going in towards Azonia's next, maybe. He has the cloth armor as well as the Amp Tome, so wasn't sure if he was going to go Jack Show third with the cloth armor or what he was going to do, but with the Amp Tome, I'm now kind of assuming that it is going to be for that Seekers to be able to answer this explosive engage. He knows that he is going to be vulnerable if you get caught by that shockwave.
Yeah, because to your point earlier, Azale, like the early game, getting those first turrets, you can do it with this composition, but as you go further in these lanes, it can get harder and harder against the Kai'Sa.
Okay, so Dokla does have his long cooldown top lane teleports ready for this as well. Had to use his barrier, of course, for extra survivability last time, but it just puts more importance on the setup here towards the engage. Honestly, I think we're just going to continue to get farming. Yet we've got 3 item power spikes on both AD carries. They're ready to use it. They are ready for this team fight. If they do get an engage, it's going to be explosive.
And Azale, I know you're pointing out the Dusk and Dawn there on LYON, that third item. Are you pointing out what Dokla's missing out on? What he could have in its build?
What could have been.
This is what could have been, man.
Yeah, this could be us, but you win AD instead. TL looking for a trap though here onto Saint. Inspired and Isles are generally in the area, but Saint is respecting the possibility. He's playing very far back.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating when you have these two type of compositions, because Killer Instinct on Kai'Sa and Paranoia on Nocturne serve similar functions. If anybody's out of position, if anybody's too far pushed in the lane and alone, you can just jump on them. And now Inspired is very far forward, has to flash back towards safety of Dokla. The rest of the team comes in here. Isles with the lockdown on the Morgan. Berserker's free firing. Course trying to lock him down. Isles first to fall. Team Liquid still alive for now. Jan's getting damage on the Saint. Flash forward for Berserker. Can't get the pullback. Dokla will kill Jose Deodo on the side. 1-for-1 trade for now as Morgan's back is stopped. And a scrap results in an even trade of kills.
Ooh, Morgan knows his limits so well. He uses his whole health bar, plays on the edge, barely escapes. Still with the flash, though, they take down Wukong. The attempted Wukong ult, as they were trying to burn down Inspired, gets burned really early on, and so it's support for jungler trade. But because, oh wait a second, Berserker's not going to be able to root anyone else, and so no further casualties. But because it is jungler down for the side of TL, means that LYON can just move on over 4 seconds on this dragon. And the earlier respawn timer for supports as well, because it's lower level, means LYON get the big advantage out of that trade.
Yep, exactly. And Morgan's just going to TP up towards top. He knows there's no way they can contest it, so they do end up having to give this. This does mean LYON moves the soul point. Inspired, I thought he was going to get picked there because he used his spell shield as he saw the voice seeker coming through, and then just the early flash immediately as soon as he saw someone and turns off the lights, denying that possibility of the engage coming through and catching him, meant that it gave them time to respond. Like, that could have been devastating if he didn't react so quickly.
Yeah, and it gave a lot of time under the cover of darkness to allow Berserker hold on.
Killer Instinct on the Berserker, still has the ultimate available, will pop at Paranoia as well to back up the AD carry. Teleport defensively from Dokla, Team Liquid get out.
Good snipe from LYON. I mean, hitting that, he got good ultimate cooldown trades. Was able to get the barrier, was able to get multiple ults out from the side of LYON, and Baron is started out.
Yeah, we're
Here comes Saint from the bottom.
Saint all alone currently. The rest of LYON now linking up with him. Dokla's getting some damage in over the wall as they're waiting for Berserker to get all the way from base. No AD carry still for LYON. They're trying to delay this one. Big damage from Dokla in onto Morgan. They got him. Bears with a kill credit. And Saint goes for the scoop. The Baron secured, but the team fight a disaster for Team Liquid. They've already lost 2. LYON chased back into the top lane here as it's only Isles on him currently. They're going to need a little more damage than just the Leona. Maybe LYON just gives it to him onto the turret. He will take the entire wave here, stunned up. It's a delayed kill with the rest of the team as Dokla on a killing spree.
I mean, they might have sent Berserker back to base, but they've got another AD carry. It's the top lane Varus, and he melts that Renekton. Really thankful for Team Liquid that they were able to get the Baron before losing the extra kills, but it still means LYON have a massive gold advantage. They've got the 3 dragons. And despite that top side play where they got big cooldown advantages, they lose out.
I mean, they had no Nocturnal and they had no Xayah, so they're thinking, you know what, we can just burn this down, but it's taking too long for them to actually get it. Look at Saint and Dokla on the side are just hitting the entire time, so Morgan goes down quick. Then Berserker is arriving as you get the kill. Saint gets a ton of damage out on the carries on the left side of the fight, and as a result, sure, you got it, but you're starting to fight out 4v5 with no cooldowns. So there's just no way they can actually fight after that, and I think they just overplayed their hand.
I mean, those situations are always so tense. You could tell walking up towards Inspired, you know, Morgan here is trying to push him off in the call for TL. The rest of them are DPSing into Baron, so you're using all your spells there. So even though it's technically 5-on-4, if you don't have your spells on so many champions, then your fighting capability is drastically lower. And not only did Saints, you know, get a bunch of damage on them, he also got Quid's flash out. Like, that was huge, huge value here for LYON. They burned a bunch of summoner spells off TL, got a bunch of gold. Yeah, they're just free hitting a Renekton.
Whoa.
So, a Renekton is a health target with lower, not very high resistances, and 2 DPS just melting him, while the rest of TL were pouring a lot of their damage into Baron. That's why their DPS meters there look a lot lower.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it is now the full Zonia is completed. There's a Seeker's done now for Saint. Kai'Sa does have one on the other side, so you do have some of these tools over there, but the sustained damage from LYON's comp is so high, and now that they have some of these defensive items in, that as long as they can react and not get one-shot by, you know, Rakan, Charm into a Shockwave, it's going to get tough. As long as these LYON carries are spread, I think the fight now is really hard for TL at this point in the game.
Yeah, for the side of TL, they do have a Mikhail's as well for Cortege, so maybe they'll be able to, like, you get somebody out if they get picked by Leona or something like that. But it kind of does feel like they need to make a, like, multi-person play on a side lane at this point. It's just so hard because, again, you're playing into a Nocturne, and that coverage. Yeah. We've seen a lot of the value out of defensive Nocturne ultimates already this game, and you can just always threaten because Big Dokes is a tanky target, and with the delay power of the double Zonias that you mentioned on the side laners, Dokla and Azir having it, you can buy infinite time, not infinite time, but a lot of time.
A lot of time.
It feels infinite.
Yeah, enough time for the Nocturne to be able to get in range and
relative,
get the
and I want to go back to something that we kind of set up for expectations. The difference for how Team Liquid and LYON looked at the beginning of the split versus now. Coordination looking better for both of them, but it's looking far better for LYON in this game. We haven't seen the Shock Kong come in from Quid and Jose Deodo. We haven't really seen a lot outside of, like, Yon flying in for the top lane for that one pick that they had there. It's been some attempts, but they haven't really found the right pieces to work together. I'm very happy, though, with what I'm seeing from LYON and how coordinated they're looking.
And I think a big part of the reason we haven't seen that is because LYON is not giving it to them. Yeah. You know, LYON got the first 2 early dragons, so they didn't have to come to these dragons if they didn't want to, and then they just decided to play side lanes for the next one. So now it is 15 seconds until this Ocean Soul is available for LYON. This TP is going to get spotted.
Teleport from Morgan.
And again, like, they actually have so many answers for that engage. You've got ultimate here for Xayah, for Berserker, multiple Zonias, and see about the mid lane priority gained by LYON. They're going to have the pressure there, even though TL are in the river and making LYON have entry.
Yeah, Inspired and Isles are trying to make some space for Berserker and Dokla. The 280 carries are the ones we got to watch in this fight. If they can free fire, Team Liquid's in trouble. They got to find the combo from the Wukong, the Orianna, Kai'Sa flying in over top to actually take down Berserker and Dokla. Saint, meanwhile, flanking around the side here. Yeah, quickness popped, immediate charm. In goes Yon. Big damage on the Saint, but he's still alive. Shuffles back CoreJJ, who then falls to Berserker's damage. Team Liquid now stuck in the pit. 3 members fighting their way through the river as Yon does not have the ultimate anymore. Team Liquid in a 4v5. LYON, though, also some cooldowns down. In goes Jose Deodo. They got the Shockwave combo, but it just doesn't hit enough members. Morgan trying to flash in there. Still falls to Berserker. LYON hold the line. Team Liquid just couldn't quite get across the finish line. LYON will get themselves a Dragon Soul.
They're just so much more secure in their team fight. Yeah, you got a Shockwave combo onto Leona. Yeah. That was it. It hit, and I'm pretty sure that LYON had Aftershock on too, so that was almost 0 damage there. The bigger part is the first play. When TL tried to make this quick play onto Saint, trying to assassinate him, LYON jumps in, but then immediately Nocturne ultimate to push LYON away. So then it's just a Rakan in there without the Kaisa damage to finish off this kill. It's just a good reaction from Inspired. He knows, like, all right, well, you dive in, I'm going to dive in and peel him too, and they get the kill.
Live right now, we have another Paranoia going straight into the mid lane here. Chain CC with the Chain of Corruption coming down, but LYON is able to jump away from that one straight into the waiting arms of Saint, who goes on a killing spree. LYON find another quick play here in the mid lane. And now, oh, Solar Flare lands! The stun onto Quid. 2 kills to LYON.
And this is just looking completely over now. You know, TL basically try their first real engage of the game. It gets completely stuffed. Saint pre-Zonia's even the Cyclone from the Wukong. So just fast reaction. They dominate the fight, take the soul, and this is looking like it's wraps.
Team Liquid have Morgan and Jose Deoda to try and hold the line here. Now Core JJ has shown up the Cyclone just to try and clear out the minions, but he still goes down. Inspired with another kill. Saint under the turret will go on a rampage as the turrets fall. Ace to LYON and a game 1 victory.
I'm a big fan of those white flag emotes for the ace for your team too going up, by the way. That really that's some like emotional damage.
If anything, I think they were
yeah.
aggressive. You know, did really kind of sit back and it felt like they're like, okay, great, 3rd Dragon, we're ready to fight, we're ready to go. Now our comp turns online, and LYON just kind of said, guess what? We're not fighting you. We got the first 2.
Yeah.
And they just waited and waited and waited until they all had Zonias and they had all these answers. And then when TL went for the engage, it was a complete flop.
Yeah, you have no targets because Berserker has Xayah ultimate already from the beginning. Dokla made himself a tank, and they both had extra Zonias. So we'll see about the next one. Maybe that's the mind game. You say, you're too aggressive, and then you trick them to not go in.
I gotta say, LYON played it really well though, because I do think, you know, traditionally those compositions we see often do well in lane, but then kind of fall apart. I felt they really played well when they were strong, which was early, and then once TL hit 2 items, they're like, you know what, we would lose fights here. They just completely avoided them, played side lanes really well. They just played completely to the strengths of the team, and that was, I think, one of the cleanest games we've seen from LYON.
And it's a huge thing to say that. It's very meaningful for this LYON roster that everybody, including us, were very skeptical. How are these players going to work together? You know, we were like, okay, you got a lot of individual talent. Are there going to be personality clashes? Are they going to be able to see the game the same way? And from watching the last couple of series, even just the first game of this series and the last series, it does seem like everybody is on the Inspired viewpoint here. And especially with coaching staff helping out and align these viewpoints. Very fearsome LYON if they are coordinated like that. Let's see what TL can do about it, though, because they definitely have the capabilities here to change the script. Ryze picked up on one side. Maybe it's the Taliyah answer here. Pantheon is banned, but
Anivia is up too, so
yeah,
true.
That's kind of what I'm expecting. I feel like Anivia has gotten so popular as an answer. Cassio obviously is banned out. Taliyah definitely not bad. I think you can go a lot of different angles, but I tend to be on the Anivia train these days. Ryze, I do think you can struggle in team fights against him too.
And it's the Taliyah answer. So they're going this route with the Yunara as the bot lane. So 2 of the primary carries are locked in.
Yeah, looking good. So we get another standard mid lane trade. The Maokai, again, with these Maokai buffs on this patch, I'm a big fan. Bring back the tree here. It just provides so much for your team fighting. His Q smites do incredible damage for smite fighting anybody. Not going to be quite yet, and so we'll just get mirrored on these lanes so far. Yunara gets answered with Corki, another very, very common answer.
Hear me out. Yunara top. What if Doku goes back-to-back, you know?
I'm hearing you, but I'm not listening.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying. You know, I do think with Corki, it's probably going to be the Nico or the Nami. They are going to look to try to dominate the lane. TL's bot lane is really well known for their 2v2 play, so I think this makes a lot of sense. You know, Nico gives a lot of power here and does give you some engage as well. Lulu, I think, would be a strong answer, and I do think if you're going to be playing, you know, this patiently, as LYON has been playing.
That was a boo. That was a loud boo in the audience right there on the Yumi hover. Do we like Lulu more? Is it a yay Yumi? Or Lulu, I mean? I'm not hearing anything. All right. Yeah. Well, it's a Lulu.
Ambivalent.
They're ambivalent about
on
Lulu.
the other side.
Okay.
We got a Lulu fan in the audience. So Enchanter matchup to try and keep your Yunara safe into this kind of lane dominant Nico Corki.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of expect to get pushed in. Obviously, you do have really good extended trades as the Yunara and the Lulu if you can get the passive stacked up. But Corki and Nico are not going to give that to you. They're just going to look to try to poke and prod and push you in, harass you, and try to bully you in this 2v2.
So the AD junglers are dropping down. Like Xin is still very prominent and would be very, very effective. I expect it to be kind of a battle, especially if you ban the Trundle. Trundle is a nice answer into Xin traditionally. Plus, it can open up your blind tank that I'm expecting Dokla is going to have to blind the tank this time because Team Liquid will save their red side counter pick for Morgan. So Trundle ban is good. Maybe it puts even more kind of focus there towards the Xin for the AD focus.
There it is, banned out. So Xin going to be banned out. And I mean, you're talking about AD junglers. I've mentioned this before, but it's basically the top 20 junglers in pro play are basically all AD junglers. That is it. That is all people are playing these days. And so there's so much focus in this already because obviously we had 2 played the first game. Vi, Jarvan, the Trundle, the Xin, the Poppy, the Pantheon, like all potential AD jungle picks, all have been banned out. So that pool is getting thinned quite a bit. There is still stuff like Malphite that's really popular these days. Not as an AD pick, but Malphite is quite popular. And you can go towards like Lee Sin and stuff like that. That is a bit more down the tier list, but Jose has played it.
And now with this Sylas ban, I almost feel like if Team Liquid are forced to go for the Malphite ban themselves, because if you give that up and you don't have counter pick like the Sylas, it gets really difficult to shut that down. I still love the Malphite, especially when this composition doesn't have like pure engage. And Inspired has been leaning towards a lot of these junglers that are more reliant on the ult. You made a point earlier, Zale, that like the team is playing around Inspired so much better, and I think it's opened him up to play less things like the Xin Zhao, like the J4, where he has to make action happen himself. He can rely on the team more, which opens up things like the Malphite to set his team up for the carry.
I'm actually so surprised when they banned Sylas. To me, that is such an obvious tell that you want to play Malphite. I was actually really surprised that it's an Ornn ban instead. So TL is betting on the fact that they're going to be able to get more out of the top lane, by dominating there. But Malphite is really strong. Maybe going to go Mundo instead. I mean, Mundo, if you're expecting the Malphite, maybe that's what he's saying is like, because Mundo is a great answer into the Malphite, so maybe he's saying, oh, I know what you're going to do. You're doing this. You're leaving this open because you want to play Mundo and try to outscale, which could make some sense. But Malphite is great because you can build all these cheap support tank items, right?
Yeah.
Like, and, that is just so effective. You can get to 1, 2, 3 items really, really quick. You can spike well on that. You can set up for your carries. You already have super high damage.
Like the Zeke's rush. Yeah.
Do it. Graves did get buffs. Did get buffs to his passive here. The True Grit. Not gonna slam it this time around. Just playing with you. Rumble was still up the entire time, so feels happy grabbing this one. No problem. I mean, lots of AP damage here for TL.
So it's like you banned Ornn to get this Rumble, but he can just play Galio. So I still feel like the Ornn didn't really accomplish anything. I'm really curious what the jungle pick is, because to me that is whether or not that is going to determine whether or not the Ornn ban made any sense.
Yeah, and a Malphite Galio combo engaged to set up for a Yunara to free hit.
But this is physical damage. I was going to highlight it's almost all AP with the Corki.
Or is it Hen jungle? So
I think it's the Hen jungle. The Hen jungle is more likely. The Hen jungle is really good right now. Yeah. Obviously, Blabber played it really early on.
The return of the Zahanga.
Oh, no. Are we going back to that?
I've been spamming this one also. It feels so good. His clear is really good. He moves around so quickly. With the speed of the E, you can get around very, very quickly, and you just can be a huge bruiser jumping into the middle. So it is going to be a tank combo here for the top side. Big Dokes going to go to the Cassante route. This is always really good into Rumble, especially Rumble when there's double AP solo laners. Just go your Canic Rookrun really early on for the Cassante. Feels quite good there. And we'll see, can this Zahungle become an issue early on? Playing into a Lulu is kind of annoying, but you can still get you can still have very high effectiveness.
I will say one of my concerns is that they're super reliant on core as really like the only engage, right? And so if LYON are playing as disciplined as they did last game, how do you start fights?
Yeah.
Like that is really it. And when you see someone that is so reliant on things like Flash Rune Prison or a Nico route, well, Lulu can just go in early Mikhails, and then all of a sudden you don't really have a lot of plays as far as that is concerned. They do have a ton of damage over on the TL side, which can get like really, really effective if the fight gets messy, if it's all spread out, because you have all these kind of small skirmishes where high DPS comps can win out. But I do feel like it's going to be hard to start fights, whereas on the other side, Malphite can start them out no problem.
Easy tool to go in with that one. Inspired's got the tools to set LYON up for the victory. They drew game 1. They drew victory in game 1 here in the series. As Azale's laughing at some alt chat happening in the game right now.
Yeah, Inspired was shouting him out because he saw the Graves hover and he was like, "What? Graves was open."
Yeah.
And immediately Jose's like, it doesn't look good. So
he's talking through all the choices. He's like, Graves is open. Jose goes, doesn't look good. He goes, Lee, he's like, against Malphite Lulu?
Some little coaching going on here. I love it when the players are willing to yap with each other, especially in relatively high pressure series. Again, loser does go home. Winner will at least make it to the America's Cup into Brazil. Yes.
yeah, and it's really just about feeling really confident in their draft. You know, Inspired's like, "Yeah, we had you in a corner, buddy. What were you gonna pick a Graves?" Good try. Honestly, though, I got kind of hyped up because of the recent Graves buffs and seeing, oh man, are we going to get some crazy invade routes and stuff from Graves? Because maybe early on they could put some extra pressure there, try and get Rise, out and around, helping out with that. But not going to be the case this time around.
Core took some pretty tough trades there. Did lose actually a lot of health. They are both spamming potions, so both supports already gone through all of their potions, and Berserker does have his passive ready, so maybe they're just trying to really quick push for level 2. Looks like they will.
Yeah, Yunar not necessarily that weak at the level 1 either. So that's how the bot lane's going here, but we also have Raz standing by with the sideline interview with Coach Spooks.
That's right, I got Coach Spooks with me. First question for you, just based off of last game, anything that was out of expectation because there was a Varus top coming in from Dokla, anything that you want to see your team do a little bit better going into game 2?
Yeah, there's been like a decent amount of Varus top in competitive and like LPL as well. At the end of the day on blue side, like you're pretty limited to your blinds, so we definitely thought about it, but at the end of the day you have to blind something. I think in terms of our game last game, I just think we had a lot of tools to fight and a lot of tools to engage, but the game went really slow. So we just had to do a much better job of like being aggressive on our turns, and I think that's kind of what let us down last game.
That makes sense. And this game in comparison, I mean, there's maybe a little bit limited tools with the Nico. What do you want to be able to see from your team in this game in comparison to the last?
Yeah, it's similar. Like if you look at their draft, obviously they just want to wait till Dragon. So they're going to play it the exact same way, but again, we have a lot of tools to pull the map apart with Rise and with Rumble ults and with Nico Flash ults. So in our mid game, we just need to be way more proactive. It's essentially the same win condition.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you a lot, and I'm going to head this one straight back to the casters.
Yeah, definitely agree. I was gonna say they can't afford to do the same thing they did last game this time around. But are those really gonna be strong tools? I mean, Jose right now is pretty heavily chunked, so Inspired chases him off bottom side Crab, and he'll just run up to the top side one. Can Saint? He does get a little bit of vision and interrupts the recall at the moment, but still not going to do anything as far as Jose, so he should have an easy time just grabbing the Crab anyways, go into second clear. But it does, like, unless you get an early flash off this Talia, are there a lot of ways to make your own plays? I guess maybe you rely on Core on bottom side. Like, maybe Core is able to get a flash out from somebody on bottom side early on, and then you can just make your plays there. Rise tries to get a roam timing down to bottom lane. Saint is getting a lot of interrupts on him, though.
Yeah, that was actually really nice. He knew because it was the cannon the tower is hitting, he's not even going to miss that minion, so he can afford to walk forward a little bit. Interrupts that recall, which is likely to result in a couple minions lost. But no, I tend to agree with you, Kobe. I do kind of worry for how difficult it's going to be for them to engage. Yes, you can look for those flash Nico ults, but once Lulu has a lot of tools, once Berserker is scaling up, it's going to be tough. And Yunar gets to a point where you basically have to kill the Yunar to win the fight. Like, you can't go for the other people. And then fighting through Cassante, Malphite, Lulu, and Talia Rocks is tough, right? So that is kind of my concern for TL's composition.
Yeah, especially if Inspired gets a smooth path to that level 6 for Malphite, and they can actually choose their plays as well. He is, similar to Jose, once again, pathing down towards the bottom side, so both teams will focus this area. At the moment, they get a little bit of push off here, try and deny a minion or two, but really good vision coverage. Again, the path that we mentioned as far as the play.
Unraveled Earth here onto Quid. I think Inspired's just going to land a Q, yeah. No big action.
The important path is going to be this path from mid lane roaming down to bottom side. You know, these different roam angles that you have down towards bottom side, whether the Rise or the TLAW can get leverage there, that could be something that can actually blow the game open.
Ooh, ghost spot from Quid trying to chase down Saint right now. Lands the Q, but Saint can back off with a ghost of his own. Quid getting a little aggressive there, though, with Jose Deodo clearing out this control ward.
Again, this highway that we just highlighted of mid to bottom, or even the other way around, is so critical. And meanwhile, it is going to lead to an invade afterwards, too.
Yeah, he's wrapping
He might go for a dive. Yeah, if they can actually get in here. Quid taking some damage, flashes away, and Jose Deodo gifted first blood.
Really nicely done. Great setup there from Quid. He pushes him in, and Saint, you know, he flashes pretty quick, but once the auto is coming out, the auto always will complete. So Jose able to finish him off.
Yeah, and you get your extra range on the Q here for Zehen too. So he just had to walk into range, flash for flash, but he goes down, minion wave goes down. Really good early start. It's 1,000 gold lead already.
Wow.
With the first blood bonus, and it goes into your jungler. That is beautiful for them. The consolation prize during the reset, of course, will be Dragon number 1.
Ooh, Morgan taking some damage here. Dokla has the all-out available, looking for the damage onto Morgan, but won't find any. Morgan actually used the equalizer to hit the wave and was playing around it greatly, so Dokla not able to actually turn that.
Yeah, he would have needed to hit that third Intopo strike. If he got the knockback, you know, maybe you force the flash, or maybe you can look for something more. But at the end of the day, it is kind of just the trade of ultimates.
I want to see if that is the domino. This play of the wraparound dive where Quid forces low health Saint under tower and Jose gets the wraparound dive out. Is that the first domino that leads to mid lane dominance, into mid lane roaming down bottom side, into mid, you know, making the rest of the necessary plays here for the game for Team Liquid in order for TL to keep up some early game playmaking and pressure that is necessary for them to bounce back and even up the series.
And I always feel like whether it's Zehen top, Zehen jungle, doesn't matter where this thing is, if it gets ahead, it is really, really difficult to deal with. He can just play so aggressively looking for these fights, and then, you know, when he's at the point where he can just run in and look for the dreaded return, and then you flash out, you dash out, whatever, and then Grim Deliverance on your head, like ulti in, this guy can take over fights. He's very similar to Aatrox in that way to me.
If you get fed, you can just take over the game, and also you have a lot of agency, which is going back to what I had highlighted before, and that Inspired, it's Nocturne, it's Malphite, two junglers that they have a lot of go buttons. They say we're going to start the action, but they don't have necessarily their own agency to carry a game. They need the team around them, which is not what I really think of when I think of Inspired with this squad of Lions so far, as Jose Deodo is going for a little invade here.
And it's good because bottom lane for him is pushing, so you can get support from your bottom side moving in, and knowing that you win the 1v1 versus Malphite. Stacks his Conqueror up.
Yeah, Conqueror stacked, passive stacking up as well, and even with Isles there, Inspired will just go towards the Krug. Seems like he is seeding this. Has the unstoppable force, and now the Weaver's Wall comes in, but Jose Deodo just turns in onto Saint instead. There we go, the big ultimate Grim Deliverance in, as LYON getting some damage as well. And Team Liquid, they go deep into Light's jungle. They lose the first member. Support's down. LYON will equalize onto Inspired. 1-for-1 trade, support for jungle.
I mean, it looked like Inspired was happy to just give that up and play for his Krugs. Saint went in, but he was kind of just in the middle of everyone by himself. That to me was looking more like a play from Saint from the previous weeks before playoffs, because he goes in to the middle of everyone here. Quid is already on the roam, so he jumps off the wall, rooted up, Grim Deliverance, pop awesome, everything in.
Yeah, I mean, Isles is like, oh, okay, I'm going to use everything, get over here and save your life, and he does, you know, save his life, but Inspired was finishing the Krugs at the time. He does finish up with those and use the ult as well. Ends up being 1-for-1 here. Super deep wards, though, and possible repeat plays here for Team Liquid.
Yeah, it's only Flash from Inspired use. Everybody else still has their Flash available. Saint had used his earlier, but like the fact Berserker Isles didn't have to, pretty big for them.
And prior to this game, this was Saint's stats in playoffs. So his KDA just got cut in half because he had another death, unfortunately. But he has been killing it in playoffs. But those were the kind of errors, I think, at times that we saw from him during the Swiss stage that did really hurt LYON, where he was getting picked out. He was sometimes, you know, not coordinated perfectly with the rest of the team.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, as Kangas has kind of touched on, TL used a lot to go push him out there. And so on the reset, Inspired will grab the grubs. Grubs and first Dragon for Team Liquid. Gold lead, or excuse me, the other way. Lion, and then Team Liquid with the gold lead here. Almost 2K after that last kill. And while it is first item power spikes for both junglers, one of these items is far more expensive.
Yeah.
They're ghosting the bot. They're
Not
gonna
exactly
dive.
the same. Yeah, Realm Orb's coming in. They want the full dive. That's a big wave that's crashing. Berserker's got the Lulu in his back pocket, but he's already dying here. Just a yawn, and Core JJ looks for the flash out play. Doesn't find it. Isles with a wild growth on himself to try and turn a kill, but a clean dive for Team Liquid, 2 for 0.
That was really well played there by TL. It looked like Jose picked up the turret aggro, maybe accidentally, but then he just played it well. He stayed on the outside, held the aggro. It got a bit dicey, but at the end of the day, it's 2 for 0 on a very aggressive play.
And they got both sums off the Yunara. Berserker using both to try and get a counter kill there. Goes down. The consolation prize is pushing on mid.
You guys wanna die?
We should.
I'm
Yeah,
ghosting.
I think
If you guys
we
can
but it
drop.
doesn't matter.
I
Let's
don't have
go.
ulti, okay?
Yeah. What coming?
We're crashing now.
No ulti, Yunara. I'm
I'm
taking
going Lulu too.
I'm taking. Keep going, guys. Keep going.
You don't have flash.
No ulti, Lulu. Nice.
Nice job.
Yeah, nicely done from him. You know, he walks in range, starts taking, takes plenty of turret shots, and they're able to complete the bottom lane dive. And again, even though you're like, oh, well, Saint got to push mid lane, they got some gold there, you know, minions and tower plates. Remember, the focus here is a lot of gold on Yunara. That's what Lion wants, because they're running a team with 2 tanks and an enchanter. So Yunara. Berserker needs money. That's why it's a really good idea for repeat plays here for Team Liquid. They're making bot lane play, bot side play, invades on bot side. And they're really trying to kind of keep down the income of the Yunara, of the Berserker, to keep that threat low.
Yeah, and Jan spotted out that bush play, hit them with a rocket. But both these teams, the expectations were really high for them coming into this year, right? You know, this was the aggregate power rankings. TL was aggregate number 1. This is preseason. Lion was down at 4. This was the end of Swiss. Look how far those teams fell down.
Yeah.
TL almost got eliminated by Dig. It was honestly very close in that to even get to playoffs. Then now this is the end of Swiss. This is obviously in playoffs where we are now. So they are at the very least guaranteed top 4. We don't know how far they could go. Either of these teams could win. But it is kind of this like slingshot back to reality, because it was so surprising since DSG and Fly were really overperforming expectations and these two teams were really underperforming. But it does feel like they have both really kind of got back to what was making people think they were going to be such good teams.
Yeah.
Rubber band effect.
And I think that we are going to see a really nice full series, a nice bounce back. Zehen Jungle is significantly ahead, as is the Corki. So lots of early burst damage, multiple Trinity Forces power spikes here for TL, and they'll be able to comfortably grab the next dragon.
I mean, the gold lead is 3.4 total, and, you know, 2.2 of that is just between the AD carry and the jungler alone. So, yeah, the carries that you want to be fed are, in fact, fed.
Yeah, and I mean, Morgan now, obviously, you know, he is getting to be the one with more agency in this matchup. Last game, you know, Dokla was playing very, very well on the Varus in game 1, was looking really, really effective, and this is going to be a much harder game for him. You know, he's more on the back foot. Morgan is the one kind of in that comfort zone now, being able to dominate in that 1v1.
Lord Morgan. The sign, whoever's holding that one's probably very happy. But yeah, here was last game. The 100% win rate, Varus top in LCS all time now.
Yeah,
Exciting.
Big Dokes here.
Big Dokes.
Laying down the first Varus in LCS history, top, of course. And had a very good game for himself. This time around, you know, a little bit of rebuttal from Morgan on the Rumble early.
Yeah.
So let's see. Can Lion weather this storm and get to the team fights that they're kind of dreaming of? Berserker has at least been able to finish his Kraken Slayer on the Yunara, which is a very nice first item, you know, spike for the champion. And they do have Malphite ultimate ready to roll. Maybe he's just hovering for the possible, you know, offensive play. Just get your recall off while you're close.
Fool me once, you know. Quid was looking at the bot side.
Berserker gets zoned off from that cannon, though. That's another big gold loss.
Ooh. Good catch right there, as Inspired will go for the reset and still heading towards this bottom side, because every time Quid pushes a wave, he fades bot. And we do have Jose Deodo there as well. They already went for the dive. This time Inspired will spot it out as he sees Zehen over the wall. Now his Berserker gets some damage as well. Quid is there for backup. Jose Edo's out. But again, LYON, this time they're prepared for it. They're thinking about these dives.
Top, though, they're going to try to make counterplay.
Weaver's Wall comes in here from Saint. Morgan throws out the equalizer onto the wave, trying to stay alive. Flashes over the Weaver's Wall and will live, but that summoner spell down.
I feel like Saint got a little too fancy there. He tried to predict a flash with the seismic shove. You don't need to do that. He needs to react to your Weaver's Wall. He's stuck on that side. He will go down, so I think you can just wait for the play. But
Dokla's just going for the all-out third Topo strike, but Morgan just steps to the side and will accept the donated kill. Now the Realm Warp in the bot lane as well. It's only Isle stuck down here in a 1v4. Not a fair fight. LYON on a killing spree.
All right, this is cooked. This is absolutely cooked. I mean, after that one, they try to make the counterplay top side. Dokla tries to go for a big play, like flash in, look for the Pathmaker, but it completely whiffs. And Morgan gets a freebie. They go back to bot side and make that dive happen. It's a 5K gold lead at 15 minutes. And almost 2K of that is on LYON.
That was a big whoops.
Yep.
On the top.
We get big dokes, we get big whoops occasionally, yeah.
Yeah, Lord Morgan definitely going to rule the top lane this game.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just going to have that type of play. So he had one minion there.
I mean, he tried to look for the... I don't even know if he kills it.
Yeah, he wanted to do the flash ult, but...
Yeah, I think Douglas aware of how that went as well.
Yeah. And then
No
this
flash
is
for
what we
him
didn't
now,
get
too.
to see.
Okay, so let's see the setup, though. Yeah, really good proto belt in here for Core JJ.
Oh.
Very nicely done for Core JJ. Got some, gets him on the edge, and LYON not able to react to get out of it.
Yep.
You can see them in the background watching the top lane play, so I think that's what they're reacting to there, as that is tragic for Dokla. Sometimes you do feel the game is completely falling apart, and you try to make a play, you try to do something big, you're like, all right, pressure's on, I gotta make something happen to pull us back, and you end up looking a little bit stupid, and you know, that does happen. And I think that maybe was Dokla feeling the pressure to try to do something as the game was falling apart.
Now Herald confirmed here for Team Liquid Alienware. Inspired, though, is going for the engage with the Weaver's Wall coming in. Unstoppable Force to start things off, but a teleport from Team Liquid Academy with the rest of the team coming in here. It's Morgan turning on to Dokla, who now finds himself 1v4. The rest of LYON over the wall trying to get their top laner out of there, but he's still roasted down. Good sidestep from Morgan on the flick back from Saint. Dokla will go down as Quid picks up the kill. A contest at the Herald goes poorly. That is a kill advantage for Team Liquid Academy.
Clearly in this fight, you see the lead up, they attempt to chain CC LYON and kill him, but they don't have the correct timing here. The follow through with TLAW wall isn't in time, because you'll see Inspired ults early to try and keep him on place where the TLAW wall is coming, and they use Polymorph on him as well, but LYON's able to Valk out. He doesn't even have to use his flash or his barrier. So when you see all this stuff used in an attempt, like, all right, our hope is burst down this Corki, and that goes completely wide. Then they can just chase down Dokla, play the fight slow. You know he's not going to be able to escape. He's got no flash for sure. So nicely done. It's like TL now with this healthy of a lead, they have kind of the luxury in a lot of these fights, a lot of these setups, and are able to easily punish the attempt for LYON there.
Yeah, add one more member to this big 1K lead. It's no longer just Jose Deodo and LYON. It's also Morgan with the Rumble at a 1.7K lead here. So 1-8 on the scoreboard and a 5K gold lead still. It hasn't expanded since the 15-minute mark, but they can control the map. They get the second dragon now for Team Liquid Academy, or rather Team Liquid Alienware.
Yeah, and he's doing a great job, just farming up with that first strike. Has about 450 gold from the rune already, so that is nice. And it is a good scaling rune. That percentage increase on the damage is really effective in the later stages. So this is looking very tough for LYON. It feels like TL have pretty much got this wrapped up. But that being said, we have seen throws, we have seen mistakes from them.
Team Liquid, yeah.
And so they have to stay locked in. LYON is not going to go down without a fight. Inspired is the kind of player when his team is losing, he doesn't just sit back and go 0-0-0 and lose the game. He's going to keep forcing fights, even if it is a small chance.
And Berserker, you should not be sleeping on this guy either. Even though it was a good game plan early for TL, try and keep the income low. Yunara has at least now finally gotten to 2 items. He finishes his Fiend Hunter bolts. And bottom side play.
And LYON are going to go for a dive. Morgan has a shutdown on him. They want that gold all alone for Team Liquid's top laner, who gets the credit. Dokla's trying to take up as many shots as possible. Will get them all, but Inspired has to ult out as Saint barely gets the shutdown with the threat of volleys. That took a long time and a lot of health bars.
It did, and you could see that they thought it was going to be kind of an easy dive, but then they kind of had their own team walled off. Saint threw down the Weaver's wall, but Malphite couldn't walk in. Dokla wasn't doing any damage. Dokla was taking that forever, so Inspired is thinking, hey, I don't need to use my ult. It did get sketchy. At the end of the day, they get those kills. The question is, do they get caught?
Jose Deoto's going in for an invade now. Still in a 1v3, still low health bars for LYON. Jose Deoto, though, feeling confident. Isles now coming up, flash forward with the Grim Deliverance. Kill onto Dokla. Team Liquid's jungler capitalizing on the game state.
And it's all because they use so much time and health to pull off that dive that the extended play from Jose, here we go.
Even more. Jose Deoto still looking at it. Inspired pulls him back in. Rooted up. But with Isles there for the shields, he is safe.
You can just even tell what the comms are during that. They're like, run them down. Do not let them get away with this play. That took so long, took so many resources to pull that dive off.
Now LYON trading with Berserker here and actually taking a lot of damage. You gotta respect Berserker as the Pop Blossom is used from Core JJ, gets flash out of Isles.
Yeah, Berserker, he had to use the end of his ulti there to just kind of go back in one more time, and LYON was down to fight, popped the barrier, just down to scrap. And at the end of the day, they do get the flash heal off of Isles as Core was threatening. They knocked down the tier 1 tower mid, and that was the last standing outer tower there for LYON. So TL now 6.5k ahead. The lead just getting bigger and bigger, and really all LYON can do is continue to try to make these side lane plays. You need odd number of fights. You need 2v1s, 3v1s to really have a chance. Any 5v5 at this point, they're going to get decimated. And even though Inspired has 2 completed items, he's going to be close to his 3rd. Jose has very expensive items. They are not equal.
Those are designer items. These are brand name items here. Honestly,
shelf.
though, if you're all going to make that side lane play, too, you have to make it so quickly because Rise Realm Warp is here. It's like there's a lot of mobility on TL to get to these plays, to answer these plays. And if you're not quick about it, just count up what TL got in the extended play by chasing them down and forcing. They got 2 extra towers, those outer towers in mid and bottom. Plus the extra kills, plus the extra jungle camps, and so they further increased the lead. 2 dragons for them, a minute and a half left on the next dragon. So the goal lead is substantial for them, substantial enough to be able to get deep vision as well, leading up to these plays. So TL, you see Core JJ doing it right now at the moment, getting the preemptive vision leading up to the dragon fight that they assume is coming to allow Core to make that big play. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on him, but he's a Nico with flash and deep vision, and Jose is able to bully very easily big chunks out of the Malphite health bar.
Yeah, again, the Malphite has 2 items completed, but they are not the same equivalent. He's still relatively squishy. They do have tools to try and, one-shot LYON, one-shot Quid if they're able to get on them with the Malphite and maybe a TLAW flying in on top, but it's going to be difficult at this point with the gold disadvantage. Is all out used by Dokla here for another 1v1 onto Morgan. Equalizer used, Dokla playing into it because he's got Berserker coming up with the Arc of Ruin damage. Autos used, transcend oneself. Berserker's gonna look for the credit here, as it's just Morgan trying to buy time for the rest of the team. Flash forward from LYON, who turns the play and gets a double kill. Get you an 80 carry like Team Liquid.
It's not easy to take down Morgan, okay? Every time you're taking down Morgan, you're gonna lose more.
Yeah. Coming the king, you best not miss, and a few too many of those kill shots were missing, and he was just buying time for everyone coming in. TL even gonna be able to get the Baron off the back of this. Inspired's not even moving over. That is going to open up this lead even more. Objective bounties are there. You're going to keep trying, but it just takes them so long to knock him down. And you could see right from the start, they were already roaming up. They knew that this play was coming, and TL was able to respond.
And Morgan's able to get a lot of value out of his ultimate. He fights on it, gets a bunch of damage done. It's like, okay, you may kill me, but you're both gonna die. In answer for it, LYON's like, don't worry, I got this, I'll clean up. He flashes to ensure that he can get both these kills. More money funneled into the Corki, and Baron buff on top for TL. That is the perfect thing to actually finish this game. So even if you were thinking maybe there's a timeline where LYON can hold out and play defensively and scale and get a dream team fight, too bad. That timeline got thrown out the window.
Well, that was rude.
Yeah, now with Baron, you just get to push very, very easily.
Yeah, it's hard to win with the first Baron, though. We rarely see games close out that early. What it can get them is so much more gold, plus the control around the Dragon. They have that third one coming, but Berserker and Lion are just covering this top side to get more gold onto the Inara. I still see that as the win condition. You need Berserker to be able to free fire in these fights if you want any shot. It's just that Team Liquid at this point are just ballooning their lead even more, as they should be able to continue the siege onto these turrets.
Even if that happened right now, you kind of need like LYON to somehow not be firing, because Corky's got a fully completed Lord Doms, and he knows how to use it. So bottom inhibitor sacrifice, because they're like, okay, fine, you're rich. we don't want the fight, so
Let the supers come in.
We'll try and make a cross map play.
Hey, Berserker can farm up some more waves now. As Lion got some damage top.
Morgan is good weak side, okay? He's not going to expose himself. He's always good in trying to delay and make time and deal enough damage to set up counterplays.
I respect that. I would have died for that wave. There's a cannon minion there.
I can see you staring at it intently.
Yeah. You know, sometimes you just got to choose. Something's worth dying for.
Yeah.
Cannon minions are one of them.
My friend is a big fan of saying, you know what? If they're here and they kill me, they deserve it.
Die. Well played.
Yeah, I'm going to die for this kid. You know?
Got the cannon.
That's just smart by them.
Enemy team is just too good.
Yeah.
My team didn't cover. What can I do?
Hey, it's a
Such
cannon
top
and
laner
it's
thing to
EXP.
say. He says it all the time. He's like, well, they deserve it.
If you die, you die.
I mean, we might see some death right here on screen, gentlemen, as Jose Dioto has the team behind him, pushing Lion out from their own jungle. There's no camps to clear. Inspired was able to pick those up, so Lion are just trying to absorb the Baron push, as Team Liquid Alienware with an 8,000 gold lead now. If they find one big pick, if they find one big play, they can just close the game out, even though the Baron should be expiring here soon.
Yeah, I mean, the bot lane inhibitor is gone, so it would be a pretty easy push if they have a wave, but they don't need to risk anything. I think that they want to play it really buttoned up. You know, we heard comms from them last week in their 3-0, where even from massive advantages, you know, Jan was telling them, like, stay locked in, focus up, it's not over, you know, these kind of things, because they really want to make sure. And it is going to be about 3:30 until that next dragon is up for them to try to look to claim the Mountain Soul, which is one of the best souls to eliminate the chances of comebacks. Because when you're looking for a comeback, you're looking for a one-shot, and Mountain Soul just makes that much harder.
Exactly. Yeah, you could probably tank the Malphite ult at that point.
Yeah.
And just rely on the rest of the team. So, bot side, super minions, of course. I mean, look at that top jungle. It's lit up like a Christmas tree in favor of TL. So this next 3 minutes until the dragon spawns,
those
maybe
LED
we'll
lights.
just be looking at the 2 minutes, you know, because that Baron, we got the lead up towards Baron area lit up so well. Maybe you get a little bit of a bait, and Core JJ makes a huge Nico play. Once again, he has Flash and Proto Belt, and he has made already this season multiple game-winning Nico engages for Team Liquid to get them here. So even the 2-minute timer leading up to Baron looks a little dicey for LYON to deal with.
First Baron, hard to close a game. Second Baron, much easier to close a game, especially when you have this type of lead right here. So using it as a magnet to pull the enemy team into you always feels fantastic when you're the team with this big of a gold lead. And I'm so happy that we're getting a game like this after the last game. Last game was close, but this looks like it's a Team Liquid victory here. Not to attempt to cast a curse them, but that means we could have a series on our hands.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, last weekend was 9 games. The minimum possible games between the 3 series. It was 3-0, 3-0, 3-0 all those days. So it will be fun to see if TL can guarantee that that will not be happening this weekend. Obviously, there's a lot of positive things to say about TL in this game. Something that is working for LYON, though, is they do have the Infinity Edge that has been completed, and assuming Berserker can be working in towards probably an LPR next. So that is something. He will be doing some pretty high damage, but like he's going to be the main target.
And look at this, completed Frozen Heart for Core JJ on the Nico. So after his big engage, if he doesn't immediately get popped, try and apply the attack speed slow to Yunara to try and further decrease that very necessary DPS source from LYON. So we'll see if he does actually end up getting popped. But again, this is the thing we're talking about, the big problem. Your entry to Baron is Team Liquid territory. That is not even your territory. It is no longer your jungle.
This is, yeah, you said lit up like a Christmas tree. These are those like new LED lights. They're shiny, man. They got everything illuminated on this top half of the map, and Baron is spawning in 10 seconds time. They can even take away this blue buff, as they've just made it a nightmare for LYON to try and claw their way back into this game.
I mean, Saint just showed bot, but he is going to be basing. He does have the Weaver's Wall to try to join any fight, but I think they're just going to start it right on spawn. Wouldn't be surprised if they're two-manning it right now.
Teleport will come in from Dokla. Saint's going to walk all the way up, has the Weaver's Wall available. We have Summoner spells, we have items, and now we have Zonies completed on Morgan as well. Team Liquid will actually peel off the Baron, and now in comes the Weaver's Wall. Quid's able to sidestep away from it. Dokla continues the chase, has the team coming behind him, has to flash as Hideo Dodo jumps onto Inspired. Now goes in with the ultimate. Quid has the Realm Warp, but will instead just walk forward. Unstoppable force, though, onto Jose Diodo. LYON are actually getting some damage, but now LYON peppering Isles down here. Berserker's walking forward confidently, and Team Liquid Alienware are losing the fight. Another chunk on the Morgan, goes into stasis, but a flash. Berserker's trying to chase down Quid, who will kill Saint. Team Liquid making them work for it, as LYON is still alive. Core JJ are still alive. It was looking dicey, but holding the line. LYON are trying to get their AD carry out of there, and they will do so. Close fight, 2 for 2.
Honestly, I like the tenacity from LYON. They just say, we have to engage quickly on one side of this team fight. So they push the Rise up and out and get the flash there. Dokla flashing for the slow on him. But in the end, Team Liquid still are able to survive. And guess what? The Dragon is really easy to take, way easier than the Baron. So with the super minion pressure here, LYON have to react again. This Dragon Soul is going to be under attack early. Everybody trying to reset to the Dragon fight.
Yeah, they're going to try to get there. Quid is going to be, respawning a little bit late, but both him and Saint do have those semi-globals to try to join.
Yeah.
Berserker traded flashes with Core in that last fight, so we'll see if LYON can find a way in here. Inspired, I think, gets 16 from this red buff, maybe.
And Dokla doesn't have TP, so he's got to walk all the way down. They're losing the top wave for this. Saint now has spawned, has the Weaver's Wall coming up here, so it will be another fight at the Dragon as Quid's running from base. Realm coming up soon, but he should be able to make it there in time. Dragon's up. No one's starting it immediately. We're fighting for the mid-wave control first.
Okay, LYON have it taken care of as far as the setup. They're walking in.
Instead, they're going in onto Quid. The Dragon was already started, but Quid could be in some trouble. Goes into the stasis. Has Core JJ behind him, as Quid will walk back to safety. LYON don't find their pick.
These Weaver's Walls are just working against their team, it feels like, every time.
Yeah, the Dragon's already going down here. Team Liquid confirm it. That is 4 Drakes to Team Liquid. LYON did not find their play mid.
I mean, that is tough. It feels like a lot of times this game, Saint's ults have just not been good. He kind of bumps Quid to the other side of the wall, pushes him away from Berserker. I feel like if he just ulted behind Quid had no flash. You don't need to have this perfect flashy ult into a seismic shove. You literally just need to wall him off, and it's free. Instead, tries to go for the more risky play, doesn't make it happen, and now TL get the soul, and they're probably just going to kill this before there's any contest.
Yeah, I mean, LYON basically bet everything on pushing for that mid. Dragon Soul, look at these shields are huge. Baron is almost gone.
If he can get it, I mean, maybe Inspired can look for a miracle here. Not even going to attempt. As Team Liquid will get the Baron, they'll chase LYON away from the river. Dokla full retreat mode as Jose Diodo continues going forward. Berserker's cutting back. Realm Warp here into the flank as Saint now has to go into the stasis. Inspired's looking for the unstoppable force. Only lands on one. Pop Blossom to lock him down. Saint's in trouble as he will survive for quite a while, but still falls. Berserker free firing will get one, but claimed by LYON. Team Liquid played a clean game of League of Legends. The Dragon Soul into the Baron, into the team fight win, and they will march this way bot lane for the win.
What a great series so far. I mean, this game, TL came in with a clear game plan. They attack bot side jungle, they attack the bottom lane, diving over and over, and they're going to even it up.
Say it with me, guys. 1-1. We got a series on our hands. Team Liquid tie it up.
He was really too hard to go after. Honestly, I want to see how they try and deal with this issue because he won lane as well quite handily. Of course, he got the Rumble and very confident on it, but it's one of the things that people were very concerned about coming into this game
in 2014. I hate to break it to you, I think he lied.
It's kind of like when you say, just one more. We just can't end on a loss. It's only going to be one more game.
And then you stop and you're like, well, that wasn't satisfying either.
We can't end on a win either. You got to keep the good times rolling.
Keep them rolling.
You're on a streak. Yeah, we just won the last game. How many could we win?
The real question is, have they gotten their mom to play the game yet? That's the next step. You know, we got to get more
Duo queue?
moms. Yeah, duo queue, exactly.
What do you
Duo
think is the
with your
highest?
mom?
What do you
That's
think is the
crazy.
highest rated mom-son or mom-daughter duo queue in the world? We got some mom
That's a good
plus
question.
child challengers out there. Duo queue?
I've never heard any of our pro players having their parents play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. I
Yeah.
just blew Kobe's mind.
Yeah.
Kobe was like,
Holy, I don't know, man. That's crazy.
APA's
You don't
mom
do a
playing
queue with your
right
mom,
now.
Kobe?
Right now.
No, I don't. But you know what? I want that award, so I'm gonna
Start
get her
training
on a
now.
practice schedule. She's slacking off.
Miss Hartman, lock in.
Because there's a lot of people higher elo than me, so she's got a lot of room to make up. She's gonna have to carry us.
Okay. She's the one boosting
Yeah,
you.
she's gonna have to be challenger.
Okay.
Well, hey, we actually pitched a segment where it was moms playing against each other, so maybe we'll get that at some point for like a Mother's Day segment. You know,
2v2s.
if we get enough people
2v2s.
tweeting about it, then it'll happen. But we are into draft right now for game number 3 between Team Liquid and LYON. Usual suspects on the ban list, so it's Aurora locked in first for Morgan.
I've heard some people call Aurora mommy, so you know, maybe it's mom days.
Whoa! I don't think that counts, Kobe. I don't think that counts.
I heard some shots.
Kobe's pushing the limits.
Okay.
Well, Ash Seraphine, very likely. We'll see if that's going to get locked in with the Ash, or if they're just going to go for a more standard Ash lane. It is always nice, too, when you get later in some of these drafts and you're a bit lower on engage, because Ash can help to supplement that.
Let me see that Seraphine. Ash Seraphine.
Yep.
This lane is so oppressive,
She count too.
and the
How many
the team
mommies can we
fighting-
get? We got Ash, we got Seraphine coming.
Now this is on you guys, okay? I just heard someone say that.
You're echoing the people, the voice of the people here on the broadcast.
But the lane itself is so crazy, and then your team fight. Yeah, thank you. The team fight is so insane. You get engage from both of them, and you get coverage all the way around. Heals, shields, plenty of CC. It's just, I feel like that duo needs a little bit of attention from the balance team.
Yeah, it is insanely strong. I mean,
Call
the
him
passive
out.
slows, ramping up how the E stun works. If you don't know how Seraphine's E works, if it is just the first hit of the E and no one is slowed, it is just that slow. If it's 2 with the empowered, you can root. And if someone is slowed when you hit that empowered, then it stuns, right? So it kind of just ramps up like that. So that is why it is such a powerful combo. But it is very vulnerable to Jarvan because both of these are people without any dash, without really much speed ups at all. So there is a lot of potential engage here between the Aurora and the Jarvan looking to punish this low mobility bot lane.
And already, Team Liquid, they've got a dive comp here through and through. Aurora, Jarvan, and then Jhin long range over the top damage. So they want to make it very aggressive here. They're going to have some very quick engages. Look for some flank angles. Meanwhile, LYON try and shore up their 5-on-5 battle. Guess what? We've got Ash Seraphine as a core to build around. It makes melee carries feel invincible. You can bounce the Seraphine ultimate off Xin Zhao's head. Plus, he's got his own ult, so he can dive in there to the perfect position first. They are really building a crazy ball comp here. So, Team Liquid, they've got some options as far as their burst damage, their sideline plays, their dives, but I personally prefer comps that start with the way that LYON's comp is starting.
So Blitz going to get banned out. I was kind of curious where they're going to go. Obviously, they banned out Karma early, worried about the Karma Ezreal. Jhin comes through, so now they're looking for some of these dangerous engage pairings. Blitz can be really powerful against the Seraphine, pop the shields, pull in these squishy carries, look to start those fights off. And so now are we going to be getting, solo lane bans? Like, are we going to be looking at mid or top for the Aurora is kind of the question, because I do think it's flexible, based on the matchup. And so I'm curious what matchups they're most worried about. And it looks like they just want to take away tanks. I mean, this is kind of the similar strategy they did last time with the Ornn ban early, just trying to limit Dokla's ability to play that weak side effectively.
And they're running a Jhin and an Aurora already, so they are not killing a Scion, and especially if that Scion's got Seraphine behind it. So they are getting that out really quick. Meanwhile, the Seraphine Ash, you're basically just worried about kills in lane before, these surprise like Blitzcrank or Nautilus, which both are banned already. So good, easy protection for them there.
A lot of good ults to steal as well with the Ash Arrow as well as the Encore, so that does make sense as a ban. Now, I'm curious if they're going to be banning out the Ornn and just kind of double ban tanks. Obviously, they were worried about the Ornn as a specific matchup into the Rumble, but are they worried about just low consistent damage that you're talking about in general, Kobe? Because tanks can really be problematic for the champions that they've drafted so far, but not going to be worried about it. And the question becomes, does Morgan even want to go towards a tank? Or rather, excuse me, does Dokla want to go towards one of those tanks, or would he be too worried about the potential matchups for Ornn?
I mean, I feel like Ornn would be fantastic here just for engage. Hovering the Galio, though. We'll see if they want to lock that one in. It could go into whatever lane the Aurora ends up. If you're expecting that top lane, theoretically can also put it mid, depending on what else Team Liquid show.
Yeah, you have to be ready for either, so you can't pick like a regular like Bruiser or something, because Aurora will just smash them. And so you have to have something that's going to be able to deal with it in lane wherever it goes. And Akali does fit the bill quite nicely.
Yeah, but it's not a tank locked in. They're saving that last pick. They have, again, the Xin Zhao kind of pseudo-tank when his ult's up, plus the Seraphine shielding him behind, but they still are lacking that, like, primary go button outside of a couple of, Ashe Seraphine ults.
But this would be exciting to see Quid locking in the Yone. This is a guy who has been known as a melee specialist, but just really hasn't been meta so far this year to play a lot of the melee champs. Not going to get locked in, though. It is going to be the Gnar instead, which is going to be that blind up for the top side. So Aurora is going to be going mid, and now we're going to have to find out what pairing they want for core. They do have pretty good engage already with the Jarvan, so I think they have options. You could go in Enchanter if he feels like that is the best matchup. And then we are just waiting for what is Dokla's counter going to be to this Gnar. I actually really like that. I think that makes a ton of sense if you do go Bard. Bard, again, it's the same kind of philosophy here. You throw down the ulti on the Seraphine or the Ashe. You set up easily then for the Jarvan, for the Aurora, for the Gnar to have that time to come in. Jhin ult opens up right after you've hit it, and you really create that chaos. You try to have everyone in position to look for the kill. I'd be excited to see a pick like this. It does not seem like a Dokla pick. Yorick is an old school Dokla pick that every time I talk to him, I'm always joking about it, because when he was on Optic, he used to play Yorick.
Yeah,
and I always am like, so when's the Yorick come back, buddy? And he's always like, okay.
So let him cook, though, because they let him do Varus top.
They did?
Range bull.
And they lock it in.
Counter pick to Gnar. This is huge counter pick. Individual, but you have to play to it as jungle. Aurelia, we've seen it before. Tried to use in the LCS. Sniper tried to do it there with Spooks, actually, who's on screen, was the coach at the time. And Aurelia, you gotta play to it. You have to win your counter matchup here. It's very good at jumping on mini Gnar, so you can go through the kills constantly. Of course, you need to get your Blade of the Ruin King spike, but Aurelia, you can use the minion wave against him anytime he's mini. Gnar has to respect it, and you just constantly put kill pressure. The thing that usually foils Aurelia counter picks is enemy jungles.
Yep, because the only way you're putting on any pressure is by going in. And if you don't go in, if you don't put on pressure, Gnar just whittles you down and you just lose the matchup 1v1. So it is one of these matchups, like you're saying, that requires jungle attention from both sides, because Jarvan has to be there to potentially punish the Aurelia. Inspired has to be there in case the Jarvan is there. Otherwise, things can go sideways pretty quick. But that is an exciting pick here. I love that they are putting the confidence in Dokla to bring out picks like this, to bring out the Varus, to bring out the Aurelia. It is something he has played 9 times in his career, so he has some experience on it, but definitely not one of the picks I associate most with Dokla.
Big Dokes fans are eating good today. He's making this series very interesting with these counter picks in the top lane. Will it get LYON their second win here as the series still tied up 1-1, or can Team Liquid continue some momentum here with the more standard draft? Game 3, we're on to the Rift.
And especially if you can leverage a lead early on this Aurelia, then usually it's pretty difficult to team fight with this champ, let's be honest, as a melee carry. But if you have a Seraphine on your team, it makes melee carries way easier to navigate because of all the CC, but also the safety of the shield and the big heal. So honestly, I like the cooking here. I like that they're really indexing into this bottom lane battlefield over this side brush about to begin, but they have the vision.
And look at this. This feels like a throwback, the 4 pots boots, because there is so much poke on this other side. You know you are going to get smacked by this harassment. It's pretty much unavoidable. Volleys can't really be dodged. The Seraphine passive autos, that long range, really cannot be dodged. And even just the Seraphine Qs, the high notes, are so hard to actually avoid because it's such a massive circle. So LYON is just accepting, you know what, I'm going to get hit. He's going fleet, boots, 4-pot. Like, that is the most sustained, the most defensive you really can set up for in a lane like this. So he knows his job is just to survive.
Yeah, just don't give them those opportunities. And so far, I mean, he hasn't taken any too much damage. He actually has used 1 potion out of the 4.
Yeah, survive and continue to get your CS, and he's doing that quite admirably. Quid with the early push, and they did have the ward over on Raptors. Both junglers are starting bottom side because of this Aurelia matchup. Again, when that thing is locked in, you know every jungler's alarm is going off. All right, this is a volatile matchup of all volatile matchups because whoever wins up there is going to have a huge, huge impact on the rest of the game. And Dokla is going to get the early crash here for the recall. This is nice because you have plenty of time to get your first super early, easy recall off while Nara is dealing with it. And then you can just walk right back to lane with the super home guards that have been added this season. Feels very good for the Aurelia. Get your little advantage. And he goes for the boots first with a control ward. So it's not just both junglers are pathing up here. It's like, I need to have vision, extra vision tools as well on top of it.
Yeah, so the winner of this series will be guaranteed going to Brazil. You do not know if it is for First Stand or for America's Cup, but either way you will be going there, as LYON going to get rooted up there by the beat drop and ends up having to cleanse.
I kind of like this too. You know, you're like, oh, we got this crazy volatile top lane matchup. So our Ashe Seraphine on the bottom side gets to try and like work their way through the potions.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Exactly. Junglers cannot be everywhere, and so they make you choose. Best always to have multiple points of pressure, and Inspired's going to wrap back to the bottom side. They gave up the top side crab because of the reset timer there for Dokla, and Gnar was pushing back out, so he will trade bottom side crab instead.
Yeah, nice wave here for Dokla as well. He can just safely farm while Jose Deodo was on the top half of the map, and like you said, Inspired just gets that bottom scuttle. So junglers even start here to the game. Just a slight tempo lead for Jose Deodo getting back onto the Rift just a couple seconds faster.
And this is the dangerous spot of the matchup. Okay, big that stun misses, because now you've got a little window where Morgan can actually walk up. But when you are mini Gnar, the wave in front of Aurelia's turret, and it's actually walking there too, because then Dokla can threaten, you know, jumping on the wave with Q as a minion dies, and then jumping over to the mini Gnar as well. So Morgan, I think, playing it quite nicely there, and you know, avoiding the stun, very big. Now the wave will push back towards a safer area.
And we see Quid going for a reset, now teleporting back into lane, picks up the Dark Seal. So some early game stats.
Obviously, this bot lane matchup going to be really important. You know, LYON just trying to survive it, but historically, these guys have actually matched up quite a lot. This is all of their kind of accolades from when they were both in the league at the same time. So it was an 8-4 head-to-head, but they both won titles 2 times while they were in the league. They both, you know, got up to first team All-Pro. Berserker the only one to actually win that MVP, and then LYON edged him out with 1 additional international appearance. So pretty evenly matched overall as far as their success and their accolades. Though LYON has had the edge in the head-to-head while they were both in the LCS.
Yeah, 2 incredibly hype AD carries here, and this time around, Hawkshot also helps out so much here, being able to scout fully this next clear from Jose, and just knowing again it's going to be the opposite side this time around.
And I think that's actually a really great call out because, you know, we talked about it from the point of view of pairing this really aggressive bot lane with a really aggressive top lane, but it's a really aggressive bot lane that's great at scouting out the enemy jungler. That makes Aurelia's job even earlier because you're drawing pressure to you through that way and you're tracking the enemy jungle. So we'll see. Jose going to be up here. He knows anytime the wave gets close to the enemy tower, that is when the potential all-ins could come through. So Jose is just going to sit behind Morgan and make sure he's safe.
Exactly. You have to do these cover plays, and you know, he's got all his camps down, so it's fine for him to do it at the moment. Level 6 here, acquired by Dokla as this wave is pushing into him. And we'll see. Again, your Blade of the Ruin King spike is really where Aurelia goes crazy. But even with ultimate, you can make some threatening movements.
And you can see how defensively he's building. Went for the early Bramble. You know, always that lifesteal, that sustain is so problematic. Obviously Conqueror, but also even just the Q last hitting gives so much healing back. Then you get the Blade of the Ruin King healing in there, and it gets pretty out of control. But his job is really just to survive. You know, the game doesn't necessarily have to be about him. Aurelia is very difficult to teamfight on. Obviously, that is supplemented somewhat by the Seraphine. But if Morgan is going even, he is feeling really happy about how this matchup is turning out.
And it's also assisting this bot side to get slightly ahead for LYON side. Because of all the time that the junglers have put top side, it's opened up the Ashe Seraphine to get a 12 CS lead now over their lane opponent. Yes, LYON's going to pick up about a wave here as he gets back into lane, but still, with the Cole stacking, Berserker is finding a small gold lead for himself.
All right, Dokla going to push this wave quicker on top side, and Dragon is available. Hawkshot, as you say, gives him the information, constantly tracking here, so They will remain safe here as well.
Jose Dioto's job's pretty tough in this game. You have to cover top. Your bot side's also getting shoved in constantly. They almost always know where you are. It's really tough for a J4 who's known for being able to like make early game plays find anything right now.
I completely agree with that. That being said, though,
Cross world between Vale and Big Cataclysm. First blood to Quid with an outplay and a jungle assist.
yeah, that looked weird. I kind of want to watch that back. Like, did Saint flash into the flag and drag? That's what it looked like to me. I think he kind of maybe misclicked or misunderstood what was happening there, but Jose, the flag and drag looked like it was going wide, and I think he just flashed straight into it. And he knew he was from bot side, so it's like, even if you have that information, you should be playing to the other side of the lane. So let's watch this one more time. Flag and drag going to be coming through. Looks like it is wide. Yeah, he just flashed back in to try to get the passive auto, I think. And unfortunately for him, Quid just hops out to safety, and definitely a pretty big misplay there from Saint. Knew where the jungler was, mechanically misplayed as well, so kind of pretty big mistakes on all accounts.
1-2 punch.
Yeah, he wanted the burst damage, he wanted to finish it, but yeah, the bot lane's also not happy with that because they're just like, yo, just scouted this, and he's like, yeah, but I saw the kill.
I had the outplay,
You
guys.
saw Jarvan, but I saw Aurora.
Yeah, I saw half a health bar, and I'm a Kali.
It is a little bit worrying, though, for LYON, for me, you know, to have Saint, I think, made quite a few mistakes in the last game. I think his ultimates were pretty poorly placed, and at times he wasn't even canceling them when he could have, you know, like when I think about that bot lane dive. And so to go from that into a mistake in this one, Saint is, I think, a pretty emotional player. You know, when he's hot, he's really hot, and when he's cold, he's really cold. He has been on fire in playoffs thus far, but last game, definitely his weakest in playoffs. And then to start that off with this, makes me a little bit worried about how he's going to perform going forward in this game.
Yeah, also when you're just behind now. I mean, that's 2 stacks on Darkseal that you gave Quid. He was able to get more CS, and you're falling behind in that department. So it's not just the 1 kill that you give over to the team. It's the assist gold. It's the way that the wave state's currently at. As now Inspired starting up the Dragon. We saw the Grubs taken by Team Liquid. So it doesn't look like they will contest this objective. It's just a trade between them. So nice for LYON to at least pick this up. Oh, okay. Went down to 1 health. Deadly Flourish. We almost had a steal.
Back.
A
Yeah.
little zap. We've been there before. It's okay. 1 HP. It's fine. Just turn around, finish it.
Let the jungle pet get it, you know? That's what cool junglers do.
Exactly.
Well,
Never look at explosions or smites.
But
Yes, gotta walk away.
it's not gonna finish it though, because it's an epic objective.
You're getting into the details.
Yeah, you know.
You gotta turn around sometimes.
Classic jungler, you know, really overanalyzing. Yeah. But hey, they do still get it, and like I said, that is at least something for them to play around. It's with this bot side push strength they have. As Saint actually finding some more damage here onto Quid. Doesn't use the ultimate this time around. Quid will walk forward, has the wave behind him. 1 more Weirdning for the damage, and just a trade of health bars.
Yep, just kind of poking back and forth. You know, LYON, obviously, really tough matchup. Rushes the Swifties, a lot of early pots. Does have the fleet footwork as well, but that being said, he's not that far down, you know, is holding on in this matchup, and Morgan's doing great on the top side. We do see a big bias come through from Dokla. He now has tier 2 boots and Blade of the Rune King, so...
Ooh, arrow lands onto Yan, but the Bard ult to try and turn things around, slow the damage from Berserker. Now they can turn with a 4 shot, but Berserker still healthy with the Seraphine behind him. Curtain call as Jose Dioto comes in. The flag and drag knockup lands, and Isles falls. Kill goes over to Jose Dioto. Team Liquid find another one.
So before that play started, I saw the blue ping on Krugs that was on Inspired farming. So TL saw the entry from Inspired to know that Xin is topside, finishing off Krugs. I have to go back and check to see if they saw his pathway there or if they were just saying, hey,
Check the tapes.
he's finishing. But that gave them the confidence on bottom side to be like, yeah, we're not scared of this. And bot side played it really nicely. Yon's able to outdistance the Seraphine ultimate here. You know, he's got Boots of Swiftness, just use the cleanse, walk back out, go for the re-engage, get their 2nd kill of the game.
Inspired's looking top. There are multiple members from Team Liquid hovering around Morgan. He's caught off from his wave. Dokla's taking some damage here, but he's just trying to buy time for Inspired, and the kill is picked up. LYON answer back on the top half.
I mean, Morgan had been doing great, but he was sitting in lane with 2,300 gold. Like, he had not based in a long time. Dokla had gone back to base, and Dokla had been back to base before we even saw that bot lane play. So he really overstayed, ends up getting punished pretty heavily, loses the flash as well, which hurts. But you know, that is the price you pay sometimes for getting a little bit greedy.
And Inspired had just reset after he had done the Krugs. He went back for his Sundered Sky. Okay, yeah, good. You can see it on the mini map up there. The toggle.
And I want to see this this Encore if we're actually going to fully see it back. So
Oh!
because to me it looked like they used the Seraphine ult late, right? Like, so the cleanse was used on the Crystal Arrow, but then Isles hits a double E, gets the stun, and then just didn't Encore fast enough out of it. So that allowed the Jhin to get back, and you have to kind of wonder, is that a different fight if the Seraphine ult connects?
Also, Jose Diego last second cancels the back. That hawk shot was seeing the very tail end of it, and he just stops it. So I think LYON also just assumed that there was going to be no J4 there, and when he flies in, they're definitely taken by surprise. As Morgan, again, pushing Dokla out here in the top side, has been handling this matchup just fine outside of dying with the jungle gank. But now Dokla does have more of the Blade of the Ruin King components completed. Once he finishes that, it can get very tough, as it's time for Inspired to hover around the mid side here. Saint will go for reset himself. Ooh, quit stop in the back, though. Nice little rocket belt there. Cheeky.
Just being a bit annoying. Saint does have that mid lane role quest completed, obviously, as you can see that empowered recall. So Morgan just off on this top side. Again, the wave is held, and he knows he has to be very, very careful. Dokla has the ult in 7 seconds, so that is going to be the window he's going to be looking for. But Core is here to cover. You can see multiple members coming up from TL, so they're kind of trying to bait Dokla.
Goes for the Vanguard immediately, and Core JJ gets an auto slow. Also, it will miss. Core JJ holding the Q right now. Dokla actually flashes over it and now has Saint in his back pocket. The focus is Morgan. Core JJ keeps him alive. So LYON can try and turn one, but it's disaster for Liquid. LYON find 3.
That's why I say it's the most dangerous when the minion wave is right there in front of Aurelia's turret, because Dokla can use the minion wave to re-engage and disengage at will. Even though they're like, all right, you're going to go for this minion R, and they try and get a counterplay, Dokla's able to jump back to the minion wave, then re-engage and heal off the minion wave. Doesn't even go down. Big Dokes is able to use yet another counter pick. So they start out on the minion R. Core JJ tries the counter. He just goes right back to the minion wave. Morgan uses his jump there to avoid the stun. So he jumps in even closer. Saint gets here in time to finish the burst, and Dokla is able to heal up no problem for the minion wave as well as the Bard here. And then Yon's like, well, I'm overcommitted now too.
Yep.
And you gotta give credit to Saint. He was so fast on the TP from base. The split second the Bard showed, he was already TPing.
It makes you think both teams are calling this play at the same time. Yep. Because it was a reset timer, and you know the bottom lane was also resetting. They're like, hey, Yon and Core are probably on the roam right now. They have the early advance warning. So a better kind of game plan there, and outplay from LYON, from Dokla's side.
And now Saints in the top side versus Quid here, looking to chase down the Aurora. Q's landing one after another. Quid could be in some trouble here. Flash from Saint, flash response from Quid. Will survive.
That was pretty close, though. Now Dokla trying to get aggressive here onto Morgan. You have Blade of Ruin King done. Doesn't matter if your abilities miss, you just auto-attack this guy to death.
Yeah, as you can see, he's chunking out the Gnar, but Jose Diego is in the back pocket.
Yeah, both junglers. Just look at the mini-map. The other Inspired's coming down too.
Smash down as the teleport in from the mid lane. Cataclysm onto Dokla. They got him this time. Teleport will complete from Quid, but they already killed the top laner.
I love how we just see everything flying down there. Teleport comes in. There's an Ash Arrow is going to come down. Everyone's like,
oh!
Wow. That was close.
Yeah. Well, the action was bot side, so they needed to get out of their top lane. Yeah.
Meanwhile, they leave mid open with the lane assignments. Because you commit so many people, including a teleport, down to the war zone that is Aurelia versus Gnar, the mid lane just gets left open, and Berserker is able to cash in on the other side as well. So it's a very, very marginal gold lead for LYON, but really, the extra 2 dragons here does go a long way, because if they force you to walk to this team with Ashe and Seraphine, it can be very dangerous.
They really can. I mean, top lane they're the main characters of this game.
Yeah.
There's some side arcs. There's some other characters that are in this story too. They're doing some things, but everyone is just being drawn to this battle.
When someone picks an Aurelia, they're like, all right, game is about us now.
Yep.
Now is our time to shine.
You're opting your team into ganking for your lane, whether you like it or not.
Because everyone knows what they're going to do if you don't.
Oh, yeah. I'm going for that all-in.
I'm going to run it down otherwise. You better be here. As the Herald is started up here by Team Liquid. Does not seem like LYON are in a position to contest, but actually they do jump in, as now it's Saint in a 1v3 topside here. Goes into the smoke screen. Just buying time for the rest of the team who are backing him up. Inspired did jump over the wall into the Herald and push Team Liquid off. as they were looking for the kill onto Saint, but no one gets the objective, no one dies.
Okay, no Akali ult, but also no Aurora ultimate. So they can move up, and as long as Ash Arrow, look at this, 2 seconds left on it. Wait for the next Ash Arrow. If Berserker can fire this, he has a good spot out of vision.
Oh, Tempered Fate. They're chain CCing onto the support here. Isles slowed down. Inspire trying to keep him alive. The Cataclysm used onto Isles. Fourth shot might be enough, but it does not land. Inspired instead jumps in on a Jose Deodo. Berserker now has a flank angle here as Jose Deodo jumps over the wall away from his team. Deadly Flourish will not land on a Saint right there as Jose Deodo gets out with the Hex Gate. So again, nobody goes down, but we are still scrapping.
Yeah, and this time I do think it is TL that are getting the bigger edge, though. You know, both the summoners off of Isles means he is going to be very vulnerable in these upcoming fights. It was the flash, though, off of Jose as well. So really, at the end of the day, I guess it is pretty even. This next Dragon going to be so important for the two teams. If LYON is able to get towards Soul Point here, that would be huge. It is Hextech Soul, one of these really powerful souls, and especially for a team like LYON that have so many easy ways to just kind of apply it with, you know, Seraphine Poke and Volley and all these little things.
Ash Arrow, you know. You love the slow off of that one, yeah. But it is still a minute and a half until that, so there's some time for both of these teams to set it up. Currently, Inspire just going to path towards its top side, clear these camps out as Dokla is back in the top lane with Teleport.
I'm assuming Core is going to be rushing Mikhail's this game. I do think it is really, really powerful, but you know, eventually you'll probably get one in there, even if it is not going to be first. When you're playing against that Ash Arrow, it is so valuable, as well as, you know, the Seraphine Encore.
Ooh, Morgan actually goes for a cheeky little play there. Ults in and looks for the wall up onto Saint, but won't land the stun. Just pushing the wave with the rest of the team behind him. Tempered Fate's coming up in 2 seconds for Core JJ. They could look to ult the turret and then get the damage onto Saint. He tries to go back in, stunned up, knocked down. Tempered Fate onto the turret, and a clean dive from Team Liquid.
That was so nicely done from them. They just waited out everything from Saint. No ability to outplay. You can't allow them to go first. You're going to get stunned to the wall by the Gnar, so you're forced to try to use those abilities early, hope that they then whiff. But TL was really nice with it on that dive and have pretty much pulled right back to even.
Yeah, Morgan, just the end of his Gnar bar right there. His Mega was dwindling away, but he kind of cuts off the escape, and Saint tries to go in right past it just as he's able to use the ult.
It will mean, though, no Tempered Fate. Actually, as mid lane, LYON has to flash, so a really good summoner spell pickup there from LYON. The Dragon spawning right now, so no Tempered Fate, no Cataclysm contest from Team Liquid. It seems like LYON should just be able to pick this up. And also no jungler. Jose Deodo instead is just going to look at the Herald.
I'm honestly really surprised that they decided not to contest at all. It just feels like you are now one mistake away from losing the game, basically, right? You know, if you do have a pick happen, if you get its Smite stolen or anything like that, Hextech Soul is one of those really powerful souls that generally can secure a victory. So pretty risky stuff here for TL, but they're instead trying to play the other side of the map, try to play for a little bit of gold, waiting for some item completions, perhaps, for this next fight.
Yeah, I think Jhin is just a little weak. Was going to be a little weak there for them with, you know, Ash on 2 items. So they're like, well, better to not die also.
Yep.
True.
True. And they also do get a lot of gold on the top half of the map. On to Quid in particular, who is the biggest individual gold lead on the Rift. That's basically all of Team Liquid's lead is just Quid. He gets that top turret from the hover. They get the Herald. So it's not that Team Liquid didn't answer anything. It just is that LYON now are on Dragon Soul Point.
Yeah, and it's just that really a couple hundred gold at this point in the game is pretty much nothing,
Sure.
right? Like, you know, they did what they could from that spot, but it does make me feel like it's a little bit more reminiscent of Game 1, where I think TL were a bit hesitant to use their tools.
Morgan again with the wall up onto Dokla for the stun. Nars him into the wall, and another Cataclysm from Jose Deodo. Everybody getting the kill credit there. Team Liquid find another pick in the side lane.
Team Liquid send 4 people to the war zone this time, which means, yeah, LYON can have Akali split push on top side and get that rest of that tower gold, but they're just going to move in with multiple people and the Rift Herald. So they're getting 2 lanes here.
Wow.
Even though you fully commit to a bot side play, it's not like you're giving up anything really.
Yeah, I mean, maybe LYON can try and defend this mid side. They're losing their tier 2 bot. They're getting that outer turret top side. So Saint will eventually clear that one, but still positive gold play for Team Liquid.
I mean, Morgan still basically kills this
Yeah,
bottom
he gets
tower.
it.
He gets the whole thing. Secondary tower here, so huge stuff from Team Liquid. Really smart play. They go to the top laners fighting really early on. Morgan knows he can do the chase down. This is the vulnerability of Aurelia because you don't have ways to go out. You have ways to go in. So if everybody is not there with you, you are going down.
It was exciting when it was locked in because we know what it can pull off if it gets ahead, but now it's behind. 1.5k gold lead for Morgan. This Aurelia is not working.
Yeah, I mean, side lanes is always where it shows later because people can do exact plays like that, trying to attack you. And nice little job there from TL.
I mean, they still, to LYON's credit, they have a team fight set up for themselves in 2.5 minutes. Team Liquid will have to contest. There's no way that they can just give Dragon Soul. It's such a powerful objective. So if LYON can set that up well enough, they're still in a good spot. But now they have a more major goal deficit.
Yeah, I mean, you are down 3k, but if you get the soul, it is worth way more than that 3,000 gold. And they do have really high consistent damage. For TL, it's kind of all about the first punch, right? You know, when you're looking at Jhin, Aurora, Jarvan, Gnar, all these champions, they go in, you burst someone down or you don't, right? And if you don't get that initial pick, I do worry for their sustained damage in the fight because champions like Jhin, Aurora, and the Ashe are going to be pumping throughout. And if the counter engages there with a really good encore, you know, the shielding coming through, and the Crescent Guard coming out, I think that could be tough for TL.
I'm going to make a prediction, and my prediction is that Morgan carries this game. I just I just see this guy on Gnar. He is in a very good position.
Yeah.
I feel like
this guy's on my screen, and I've seen him play League of Legends.
I've seen him play Gnar as well.
I think this guy is going to carry the game. It would be really interesting if LYON, you know, if they end up getting the soul. If they do not get the soul on this next Dragon Timer, I do think Morgan is going to carry this game. I feel like he's got side lane pressure. Unless he gets it with an Ashe arrow or something, it's going to look pretty good for him, both in the team fights and in the side lane.
That means pressure's on in a minute's time. We are approaching the Dragon setup right now. Team Liquid have the push in mid and bot. They're able to get their wards down to watch LYON's approach. So it feels like unless LYON can get in there right now, they're going to have to walk into a relatively unlit jungle as they approach if they want to contest this Dragon Soul fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely true, right? You know, when you're looking at the mini-map, you know, they have some wards, but they're pretty shallow.
Yeah.
And you can see, like, Dokla down the side lane, he's going to have to play so safe. There's no towers there. There's no one behind him. I think in the 1v1, you know, he's been doing well. He's piloting the character well, but TL have done such a better job of actually coordinating to punish him, to look for these proactive plays. They haven't been confident to go for the team fights yet, though, so that really is the question. Have they done enough to put this Aurelia down to build their gold lead that they can win out in the 5v5? Because they didn't have confidence to go to that third dragon.
Yeah, the power of Ashe Seraphine. Let's see it in the team fight.
And consistently, they're not getting the push in these waves. Now they are in the mid lane as Saint jumps in on a quit. Inspired follows up as well. Some chunk damage as they interrupt the flag and drag from Jose Deodo. The Blade Dance not going to go down for the follow-up stun. And Deadly Flourish will land, plus a Tempered Fate. It's only onto Dokla. It's only the Aurelia who flashes away from the follow-up CC. So LYON do get their top laner out of there. It's still a bit of a push and pull here.
Yeah, they're just trying to wait out Morgan's Narbar. They want that to expire. He has flash. It's about to end, and then LYON can look for the fight.
Big play now for the fight with no ultimate on the Gnar, no Mega Gnar available for Team Liquid. They're going to have to find a different way to get in here. They still have Cataclysm. They still have Between Worlds. There's a flash for Cataclysm. Flashes out from Isles and company. Dokla taking a big damage, rooted down, but the encore on the multiple members. Berserker free firing on to Team Liquid. Morgan's trying to retreat, but the Dragon Soul is secured, and LYON smash a team fight with a double kill to Akali.
All right, LYON got the soul, and they can run them over towards the Baron as well.
Yeah, LYON crushed that fight. I mean, TL just could not coordinate to burst down one of these carries, and that is the problem. It's all upfront damage. If you are not successful with that engage, you got nothing.
Oh, they even stopped Core JJ's back, and the Baron is on the table here, so Team Liquid going to have to watch as that goes down, get some waves for themselves, but so much gold in the pocket of LYON, plus 2 back-to-back objectives.
So nicely done from LYON. They kite back TL off of Morgan's teleport. And Morgan's not able to stun Dokla out of the teleport, so the flash away is good. They kite into the Dragon Pit, secure everything, and LYON in a commanding position now. Let's just listen in on the comms.
Let's wait, Mega.
I will try to flash on Aurora, okay?
Okay.
I will try to make it a bit lower.
Just tell me when, okay?
Hey, now Mega Gnar.
On my next
Careful.
Q, keep
Okay,
waiting,
okay.
keep waiting. Keep waiting.
I'm waiting.
I'm gonna ult to buy
Oh,
time.
no,
Actually, I might go on Jarvan. Guys, look on Jarvan.
They want to engage.
Wait,
I'm looking Gnar. I'm
Aurora,
looking
Aurora.
Okay.
Aurora dead.
Aurora.
Aurora dead.
Aurora dead.
Focus on Jarvan.
Jarvan dead.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, looks pretty good.
Get
W
dragon,
in
get
7.
dragon, get dragon.
Try to
Yeah,
kill Nar as well.
dead.
Try to kill Nar as well.
Yeah,
Get
Nash after.
Yeah. Sorry, I flashed way too early.
Nice.
Okay.
Man, these comms are clean.
Yep.
These comms are clean. Wait on man XQ. He charges up the Q on the Dragon now.
Temper Fate onto Dokla with the curtain call. They're trying to get some slows and some damage down, but I mean, that Seraphine shield just nullifies every tick of damage coming in from Jan.
And they were able to delete quick. The Aurora instantly went down with the flank.
Talk about
Dokla-
deleting. Jan has to flash away. Dokla with the Vanguard's Edge follows him up. Turret's doing some damage here, but now LYON trying to turn their attention there. Dokla's still taking it up, but he still lives through it all. LYON find 2 kills plus the turret.
like to make a prediction. Morgan is not going to carry this game.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I would like to update a previous prediction. Yeah.
I like your second prediction more than your first.
Although, to your credit, you did say if the Dragon Soul is denied, he's going to carry the game. It was not denied.
Yeah.
LYON were able to pick that up.
If LYON kill the Nexus, I think they'll win the game. A bold prediction.
What will he predict next? Yeah.
They're looking really good, and I'm predicting this series is going to be going to match point here for LYON.
They have the Baron-empowered minion, 2 cannons behind them, and Team Liquid ain't got nothing but a dream to stop this push. LYON showing up here, going 2-1 up in the series.
Man, these are really fun games to
Yeah.
watch. You know, the game plans from both sides, the attempts at executing.
The game where LYON's 5v5 comp was a lot stronger, where, you know, in the first time it was about these luxury items coming through. This time it just felt like they had kind of been outpaced as far as the damage, and TL never really got a single good engage in a team fight in that last game. They only ever preyed on the sidelines, which they did well to create a gold lead. But when you give up 3 dragons in a row, the next fight must happen. And if it does not happen, well, that's game. Like, that's pretty much it. And, you know, Morgan came in with the Narbar charge. They waited that out. And then as soon as that happened, they still had to force the fight because he can't just give Soul for free. And so it's like, it's not an ideal fight, but you painted yourself into a corner. And I feel like TL did that in both of their losses. So I would rather see them just kind of draft for more of a 5v5 comp.
And I just like the surgical precision at which they approach team fights. You know, he's like, all right, I'm prepping my Q. We are assassinating the Aurora right now. You know, and they're also open to the other options as it was developing. They were kind of changing the game plan, but you know, just deleting people basically. So let's look at that draft. As we get deeper and deeper, it gets more interesting. We did get the coach interview from Raz at the very beginning of the day with Rigby, the LYON coach up there, talking about, hey, part of our Varus pick wasn't just a Varus flexible for top lane. It was about winning the entire best of 5 due to fearless mode and trying to whittle down these champions specifically for the later stages.
And I think back to Inspired last week, you know, I had a great interview with Sheep Esports, and I got to interview him as well, and he was talking about how he felt like the series for TL was a lot closer than it looked. It just went that one-sided because Morgan was dominating top lane. And so I do think that, you know, a lot of people were coming to this series thinking Morgan was going to smack Dokla around, but LYON came in with the game plan of these counter picks, I think, to really throw a wrench in the gears, to not allow Morgan to play with comfort. First pick Mundo is pretty interesting. Trundle's obviously on the ban list, so that is pretty nice as far as the protection bans do go. But yeah, I just have liked their prep, right? Both the Aurelia and the Varus.
And to me, this signals in, you know, elimination game now for Team Liquid, we are going to scale better, okay? We are going to have some good scaling. We're going to have some good team fighting. They want Mundo early on with a lot of the jungle being focused. This whole series, we've had jungle bans aplenty, and so they want to get a really good you know, scaling front line for themselves. Immediate answer from LYON, though, is double poke bottom lane. Okay, fine. You're going to go scale with Mundo. We're going to put pressure on your lane. We're going to poke you hard. We are going to push.
Yeah, exactly. They're just going to look to try to slam the 2v2. We'll see what LYON and Core want to answer with. You could go with, you know, Nami still hasn't been played yet, so that is not available. So you could go Lucian Nami if you want to play that style and match power with power. And I will say, as much as Karma Ezreal is terrifying in the 2v2, if you are scaling up into the late game, and I'm playing Mundo, Ezreal is not a champion that I am scared of. There's no % health damage. This champion sucks at killing tanks. It's not like Jhin level, but Mundo already demands some consistent DPS to be able to deal with them. So I'm kind of curious what Saint is going to bring out to be able to put pressure onto this Mundo, because I just think Ezreal is not it for getting the job done.
And if you wait to do it here, then that means there's 2 more bans going over to Team Liquid, so that pool gets pinched even more.
Yeah, honestly, let's see if they can just push tempo more because
Ignore the Mundo.
you basically,
Yeah.
well, you want to win before he scales.
Yeah, exactly.
So we want to win as quickly as possible. Ari, huge playmaking champion for mid lane, and so they want to try and make, you know, a lot of one-item team fights and victories and skirmishes and win that way.
One of my concerns, though, is Ari, I think, really effective with the proper pairings. Look at all the bans. Like, Wukong is gone, Vi is banned, Pantheon is banned. Like, all of these kind of pairings alongside it are gone. It's not that there's no AD pairings. You can still go deeper into, like, Viego, one of the old pairings, or Lee Sin. There are options, but I do feel like we have seen Ari really struggle when she doesn't have one of those premier jungle pairings to really kind of work in tangent with and to kind of set up those guaranteed point-and-click charms. Plus, you have Karma Ezreal bot. You have no CC there either. So I do think the setup is lacking. And if I'm TL, I'm targeting whatever you think Inspired will play as far as the AD junglers. You just continue to ban those out. I think Aatrox makes sense, you know, as a concern about you know, that Mundo's matchup. And it's one of those strong AD pairings, too.
Yep, and flexible. Could have been a jungle Aatrox ban there as well. So let's see. Whenever you do have the Ari, I do like the Silas bans. Another problematic kind of scaling champion they want to take out. So another Ari matchup here. The LeBlanc as well, covering for possible spice from Quid.
We could just get like a Victor or something like that, though, from Quid, which is, my guess is that's where he's going to end up when you already have Lucian Nami, you already have a frontliner. You know, and we have, you know, Kali and Silas, and a lot of these kind of melee champions are already gone. Yone's banned out, so it feels like Quid is being pushed into just kind of control mage, generic control mage territory. So that's where I expect he would end up. And interesting, throwing some more bans up towards top lane. Of course, it could be a Gwen jungle as well. We did see that come out, obviously, from Griffin. It did not work out, but I do think those type of scaling junglers are quite effective against Mundo, assuming it is Mundo jungle.
And we're going to go for the blind pick, Ornn, probably assuming Mundo jungle, but also, I mean, if it's tank v tank, whatever, in the top lane. But they're saving Inspired's pick for last pick here. What do you think the odds of that Graves, Kobe?
I think that Graves is 0, but the Ivern. What about something like an Ivern?
I mean, damage.
You just siege though.
But your top side would be so weak. Think about your top side, Ari, Ivern, Ornn. To me, that's just
it's not looking good.
It's just no damage. So I feel like they need physical damage, but the options are limited.
Oh, okay.
Camille into it.
Yeah, so talking about Dokla's counter picks in the top lane, theoretically you could swap Camille into jungle. Were there recent changes for that? Your hook shot now can actually land on the minions?
Yeah, I think it's a definitely.
Or the attack speed afterwards.
Yeah, it is jungleable now.
Sure, yeah.
It is. You can do it. I think the top lane is much better because it's a tank matchup. You're going to scale. You're going to get a bunch of money.
They got the combo, the Camille ultimate into the Galio ultimate. You can guarantee one player will be locked down.
From TL, I gotta say, I like this TL side a lot. Unless Inspired's got something crazy right now. What is it?
When Kobe was talking about Morgan carrying from the top lane, he meant this game.
Yeah.
He wasn't talking about last game.
It was a spillover prediction. Yeah.
Did I not say that part? That's crazy.
No, I got you. It was implied. It was implied, for sure.
You got my back. Oh!
Wait.
That was not an accident.
Wait.
That was not an accident.
Vayne jungle? Vayne top? Orange jungle?
You can orange jungle. Orange jungle is fine.
Okay.
Orange jungle is really fine. The clear speed is totally fine, and you're just matching tank for tank. It is a Vayne top, not on accident, baby. Slam that thing. You got another counter pick for Dokla. He's been unleashed. He literally, for literal years, he has been talking about range top laners. Let me, please. This series is. Dokla's been given the keys to the kingdom.
I think it's really cool. I mean, I haven't played this particular matchup a lot. Obviously, you're always going to have to be worried about ganks, especially post 6 when they can just throw down the ultimatum. But you should be able to just interrupt the hookshot very easily. Anytime you're going for a hookshot, you're going to the wall. So if you actually throw out the condemn, you're going to stun them instantly on the wall with that. You know, the harassment is going to be pretty easy. You just have to avoid those tack sweeps as you do in most of these range versus melee matchups against Camille. And if you get to the team fight stage, I was talking about, you have Ezreal and Ari. Who's going to kill Mundo? Well, guess what? Vayne is going to kill Mundo. They figured it out. This is the best Mundo killer in the game.
And Ornn scales really nicely from the jungle. I hope that LS is watching because he loves Ornn jungle. He loves the support build on Ornn as well. So we'll keep track of the build here for Inspired. But the clear is not bad at all. And you're going to be able to scale as well.
Dokla making things very interesting in this series, and it's do or die for Team Liquid. A win here means LYON locks in a ticket to Brazil. Team Liquid backs against the wall. They got to win 2 in a row into a Vayne to start it off.
Yeah, I absolutely love that he's playing double combat sums. I think this is the way, if you're going to be playing these kind of counter picks, just really slam home the matchup. And when you play Ghost, it makes it so scary because the only way Camille can really do anything in these types of matchups is you have to just constantly hit back with attack sweep and then hope you can find like a hook shot out of a brush and get in onto him. But if that ever misses, if he rolls that and then pops Ghost, you better have flash, buddy, or you're just going to get chased down and killed.
Yeah.
Playing against Vayne is not as bad as Varus, but it's not fun.
And I just love the confidence from Dokla here because he had a rough start to the split in the stats department, but last series, now this series, we're seeing a different version of Dokla. No rain, no flowers. I mean, he's grown into an incredible laner so far in the last 2 weeks, and I love this version of Dokla anytime we get to see him in the LCS. We've seen what he can achieve.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's so cool. Again, coming back to this Inspired interview where he's talking about the reason that it looked so easy for TL was because Morgan was slamming lanes. So guess what? It's pretty hard to slam lanes when you are getting counterpicked every game. Even if you handle the counterpick really well, usually handling the counterpick well is losing gracefully, right? It's just kind of holding even, which means he's not in this position where he can just take over.
And it's really enabled by the flexibility of jungle. You know, they've actually added a lot of junglers to the jungle pool, and so you start out game number 1. The Varus was a flex pick, slamming at first pick. You know, it was originally, oh, we could throw this bottom, we could throw it top, no problem. And Ornn getting pivoted here into the jungle allows him for another counter pick. So it's all about using flex picks in draft and leveraging those. Top lane and especially jungle have become really fluid in what champions can go where.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see one of the teams really utilizing that.
It's very, very cool. And this is something that I think is so strong, actually, you know, in this season, because you get the top lane role quest, you get the free TP. Yes, it is a long one, but some of these counter matchups, I think, are even more powerful than before because you can afford to take double combat sums and you still get a TP for later in the game, which is really, really valuable. It's also the first time in Inspired's career that he will have played the Ornn jungle.
As Jose Deodo looking for an early gank here with Quid setting it up, but big damage onto Quid means that he can't continue the chase down. Saint absorbs that, and Jose Deodo will just path towards the top scuttle.
Yeah, I mean, you got Ezreal Karma pushing your bottom lane in, so Jose says, you know what? I'll trade farm for farm.
Ooh, nice little buffer there.
Yeah. Means doesn't mean too much, except that he might get behind this Vayne.
I mean, Jose Deodo is actually, yeah, he is committing to the play up here. Maybe get the Ghost out. That is used already, as Morgan will get condemned back. Dokla is alive and fine.
But sometimes that's all you need, right? You just need these relief ganks. You come in, the first cleaver tagged him, so as soon as the cleaver tagged, then Dokla has to pop the Ghost. They're able to get this chunk. Morgan has enough health now that he'll be able to push this out and then base. And remember, Dokla is not playing TP and has to base at kind of a more of a weird timing, so he's not going to have as strong of a buy. So those kind of relief ganks are really, really effective. And there was no camps on the map. I mean, Jose did his full clear, did the scuttle, ganked top, based, and he's at Krugs for respawn, so it's perfect.
And they knew he was there, by the way, because they watched him go over through mid lane. So you know 100%.
You can never be sure as top laner. You have to test these things out. Just trying to get the information for the squad, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, also, I would have confidence in outplaying that, right? You're like, okay, I will be able to, you know, dodge a cleaver. It's just a Mundo walking at me level 4. And so his call was, yeah, I'm going to stay up here at the wave, and I'm just going to outplay this gank. It cost him a Ghost. We'll see about the ramifications of Camille getting a few early items.
Some more fun Ornn jungle stats. It's been played 3 times now in Tier 1 play ever. Last time was in LEC in 2020. So has not been played in 6 years at this point. And cool to seeing it brought out. And you know, you talk about obviously a lot of powerful scaling for Mundo. Well, Ornn scales great in the jungle. He's playing Spellbook, which is really effective for team fights later on. And because of, you know, the role quest, you're getting a lot of income. Ornn is not going to be completely starved. And you can go for these kind of supportive item builds that are really, really affordable that we see Inspired liking on a Malphite as well.
Yeah, and I just love the fact that they no longer are pressured to say ignore the Ornn. When we just saw the first 3, the Arya, Ezreal, Karma, that we felt that was what they had to do, but now they also do have this scaling option.
That being said, you know, obviously we're really excited about the Ornn flex, we're really excited about the Vayne top. I still really like what TL's composition is as a whole. And in my mind, I'm still thinking if I'm TL, if we full send Camille, Galio onto the Vayne, and the Vayne dies at the start of the fight, getting taunted out of Invis, well, they still have no one to kill your front line after that.
Yeah, and they're going to go mid first.
Jose again in the mid lane. That will get Spear Rush out from Sane, who actually jumps back in for some more damage on the Quid. No more CC threat, so he's just dancing around here, getting that damage.
Efficient little pass through again because he's just going to crab. So Mundo is on company time right now, and he's just making efficient little moves. Okay, no Ahri ult for now. Wait, they're trapping him on crab while the bottom fight is going.
Damage bot side. Yeah, Berserker actually flashes forward onto LYON as Jose Deodo avoids the first E from the Orin, but the Call to Forge God is UCC immune. Dokla's got the damage with Saint landing the charm. First blood to the Vayne.
The top crab is the death crab. Inspired gets the crab. He gets the level 6. More importantly, though, he's got the laners to do it. This top crab is in enemy territory, Jose, and he gets clapped there. They get his flash. They get the kill. Very nicely done.
Very costly as well because First Blood goes to the Vayne. So Morgan, now that was even, now you're accelerating this Vayne that you would kind of stabilize with that early gank. And I mean, Jose kind of knew what was happening, right? Like, he goes through mid, so he knows that you've shown, yes, it is efficient pathing, but also the Vayne had full push. Like, let's look at the mini-map here. We see the Vayne is moving. They're question mark pinging that. You know that your Galio is stuck right here under his tower. Everyone's coming.
Figured he flashes to get that crab and secure this kill. Everybody knows we're full sending. This guy's not getting out of here. Yeah, and also, if you're the top laner, are you reporting your jungle now?
Yes, absolutely I am. Especially, did he get a buff? If he got a buff, I'm for sure reporting him. No buff.
Maybe blue?
Yeah, I didn't quite catch that.
He definitely didn't have red, I don't think.
Yeah.
If it was
That's always the doomsday. When you're in a melee versus range matchup and your jungler goes and dies them and they get like red buff, you just want to FF.
So Vayne's first buy was a dagger and some boots, but now he got a BF sword on that.
That's a little better.
Next buy.
Yeah.
That was paid for by your Mundo.
It's crazy because the first blood bonus back in the game, so I mean, that was huge. Inspired, flashing for it, getting the crab also. It's just the best possible outcome there for LYON in a critical game. This is a must-win game for Team Liquid.
And we see already Morgan's game plan has changed. He's not staying in this lane. He roamed towards mid, hovering there, seeing maybe there's something to find before my wave shoves in. So at least he's kind of still focused on what he is able to do at this stage in the game, which is currently just catch this wave and maybe look for these roams.
Yeah, I mean, the scary thing is always if your jungler ever shows, Vayne punishes you incredibly hard on the range minions. It's not the melee minions that are really that risky. You can generally farm those safely under your tower, but when you step forward to farm those range minions, you are going to get harassed like crazy. You're going to get the Silver Bowl procs. It's very easy to just proc that out. And that's where you can start to get really whittled away on, and then Vayne can try to take over.
And right now we see Culling come out, plus Call the Forge God defensively from Inspire, trying to keep Isles alive. Misses the second cast.
Calibrating.
Yeah.
That's a first-time Orin right there.
Been a while since Orin Jungle has been played. I was going to mention the fact that Inspired had a full item completed. Jose Deodo did not, so the Dragon fight theoretically could go their way, but now it's actually the Mundo on the Drag.
Yeah, I mean, that item, though, is getting a lot of, screen time at the moment. X-Petu, this Shen main in Europe, has been jungling a lot, and he's actually got everybody to start playing Protoplasm first, Shen jungle. Inspired, of course, did the really early, super cheap support item build when he did Malphite jungle as well. Makes sense a lot on Ornn too. Want to be super tanky, but it is getting in really efficient, early items, and they're also going to do quite nicely in scaling here for the team fights. You have to think though, once Team Liquid. Maybe it'll be a different look when we see Camille plus Galio complete like one item with these champions. Like that combo is one of the craziest combos in the game. You lock them in, you get the guaranteed ultimates, knocking them up. And especially since it's multiple 80 carries on LYON, you kill the Vayne or, you get one of these squishy targets and they're going to delete someone.
I mean, especially with Vayne, so much of your survivability is about going into final hour and getting these tumbles out, constantly going invis. Camille also, you can go invis if you want. You're getting hit by the Galio ult, and then you're getting taunted out of your stealth, and that is where it's so hard as Isles.
Yeah, he walks up to stop the back, but he had already flashed the tidal wave plus used the heal, so he's just trying to delay that reset from Team Liquid's bot lane.
I will say Saint has quietly been doing really well in this matchup in mid lane. Quid is kind of getting pounded. He's down 900 gold, despite the fact that it's been Jose that has gone mid multiple times. Obviously, those weren't like super effective ganks, but he was trying to help relieve some pressure. And Saint has opened up the largest individual gold lead, even with that little bit of jungle pressure that's been thrown towards him. So great job by Saint.
Yeah, Jose Deodo, again, it was basically the same gank each time. He just kind of walked through the lane, went up to that top side. Now he's completed the heart steal, so he can start stacking that up and actually become more of that scaling tank himself.
These are little things, but we saw, you know, Isles went forward and delayed the base from LYON. Now as LYON's getting back, Berserker canceled the base from Core. So they keep getting these disjointed base timings where TL, who had been starting to do better and better in that 2v2, for the last minute or so, haven't actually been able to sync up and get there at the same time. So small differences in these plays that are actually amounting to a pretty nice advantage there.
All right, we've got Grubs on the map, inspired on top side with a Scuttle Crab spawn here on top of it. So support Roam Timer is really for Isles making a difference here. Karma hovering around. Meanwhile, we just saw LYON and CoreJJ showing as they push in the last wave, but the play is not happening quickly, so there is time for the reset here, and now it's actually changing hands. CoreJJ is walking up since they pushed the wave in.
Yeah.
Isles went back to the bottom side. Does seem as though Team Liquid are going to have the numbers here, so they should be able to get another neutral. You mentioned that Dragon, Kangas. Now on top of it, you get some Grubs, and if Jose can... Wait.
Oh, charm from Saint. He's looking for his own play on a CoreJJ. The heroic entrance for the magic shield from Quid just to save the Nami. So they do get the support out of there as Jose Deodo also picks up all the Grubs. And they have LYON rotate topside to help push this turret too.
Yeah, they make a big overload play on top side of the map to grab some huge value. And honestly, even though Berserker and Isles will be able to push on that bottom tower, the early work has started on for TL on top side, and they're not going to stop. So this race should go to them. Camille only has a Sheen, like it's not Trinity Force yet, but still, it's Camille with a Sheen item and Q's on towers.
Yeah, I mean, the Grub's making a difference, but the Ezreal ult actually cleared out a lot of the wave. The cross-map Ezreal ult helping to buy that time, and now it's getting really close. It's going to be down kind of to the wire here. I think TL still probably will get it, but very close.
Yeah, I mean, it depends if Dokla wants to walk up. Yeah, he does decide to walk up here, so he can help hit this. But yeah, the turret's already too low. Team Liquid will win the turret race, and a very creative shift in their game plans that get Morgan out of that 1v1 isolated, push Dokla back, deny him multiple waves, and get the first turret.
And LYON also is going Collector Rush here, so obviously it is a lot of early power. It's not the Essence River, so it doesn't scale as well, and you can have mana issues. So that is kind of one of the big costs there. But now that you have Mandate and Collector, that's a lot of power here in that all-in. So look for them to be trying to create pressure. I expect them to go mid, you know, after their next base and just try to play around the culling timings, trying to really create openings for TL.
All right, this is the dangerous time when you're trying to reset onto the map right now with very shallow vision. Support's walking around, can get picked. CoreJJ playing it fairly safe. They've got a pre-existing ward that they can kind of play off of here, and he's going to call Jose to face check.
Yeah, it's 20 seconds for that Dragon, so both these teams setting up. Team Liquid have that first one. This would be their second picked up, continuing to stack, so they're very much enticed to set this one up. But some poke lands on Berserker, healed up by CoreJJ. It usually comes down to who can push this mid wave faster, and currently it's about a stalemate as the Mundo will, it looks like, start to hit that Dragon down there. Inspired now walking down from the top river as LYON takes some damage here. Flash forward from Isles to follow up. The route continues, but what a tidal wave from CoreJJ to stop Inspired's second cast to call the Forge God. No follow-up, LYON lives.
The timing there was perfect, but still it's 4 summoners down there on the TL bot lane, so they have no sums, and Morgan just got chunked, and he's on Vision, so it feels like LYON might have earned themselves enough of an edge to start up this Dragon here. Morgan still has to keep running, and you have Dokla in the isolated 1v1 against Quid, which is going to be super good for him. And the producers let me know that when Dokla lost his tower in the overload, that's how the map, he says, "I'm still scaling, I don't give an F." So he's still feeling confident, and they're going to TP back in and look to try to fight this.
Saint backs, picks up some items, will TP into the lane as Jose Deodo, the only one hitting this Dragon currently. Mundo goes where he pleases, but would like the team behind him. Although currently LYON are not actually walking forward to contest this. Inspired, once these Raptors, doesn't have the call to Forge God, so it seems like LYON are just going to give the objective.
Yeah, it's the key there. Without the big ultimate from Ornn for the team fight.
Well, now they got to get out there. The charm lands on a Morgan, but he just tanks it all up.
But look at top lane. That's what it's about, right? That's the trade, is you're going for that top lane. You're going to try to farm plates.
Another charm lands from Saint. What a snipe! He has just been clinical with these. Finds another pick there. And this time, the Galio ult is not allowed to keep the Nami alive.
Yeah, the pullback on Q. Enough to delete him there. Don't care about the shield. Meanwhile, also the Vayne getting gold, so it's even better than LYON drew it up. They get a bonus kill on top and can continue to push. This gold lead is ballooning. Over 3K, gets another turret plate for Saints. You mentioned how well Saint was playing the lane. Well, he's also been playing these little picks on core quite nicely, force out Galio ults. You keep having a Galio ult the Nami as the Nami gets charmed. We're never going to see a Galio Camille combo then. So the best answer here is this offense from Saint with a Malignance. He can just keep on throwing out these plays. And this time was an even better scenario where he also got the kill on top of it, getting 2 stacks for his Dark Seal.
I mean, Saint is just playing fantastic. You know, Smurfed in lane phase, and I talked about how often Ahri is not successful, you know, without that setup of an AD jungler, without a Pantheon, without a Vi, without a Wukong or whatever. But I mean, it doesn't matter if you just hit all your skill shots, right? Yeah. And he is being able to go in. He is able to find those plays for himself, kind of calling his own name and making it happen right now. He's in a great spot. And is going to be going in towards, it looks like a Leandry's second to help a little bit more with that true damage, or excuse me, with that percent HP damage.
On to Jose Deodo, who, speaking of, is now catching Isles here. The culling damage follows up with LYON, and a pick onto Isles this time. So these Enchanter supports the focus of both teams.
Yeah, that's the thing with Enchanter's coming back. Those things are squishy. Keep you walking around. Jose walks him down for the kill. Now TL with the pressure.
Siege onto the turret. That's 2 plates picked up, but not enough to actually threaten the turret itself. LYON have done a great job because of how well Saints played. That this turret, that was the first plates that they've taken in the mid lane. So it just really solidifies how well Saint has played this game.
I think those are also the first charges for the Heart of Steel.
Heart Steel stacks? Yeah, that's one right there. Boom.
So big, 19.
Hey, you gotta start somewhere. Yeah.
But Morgan now in a pretty decent spot. He is down 700 gold, but honestly, you know, if they can find some of these plays where they can get him and Quid working together, I still think they have a pretty darn good setup. But LYON has shown, you know, with some of these kind of like more oddball comps, they're great at playing them out. They're really playing to their win conditions in this series and have super impressed me. The Varus game, as well as the Aurelia game, they're not easy comps to always play out in the team fights, and we see a lot of pro teams struggle with that, but LYON just seems to have a really good understanding of where they are strong, where they are weak. They're not even showing up for fights if they are at risk, and they're just continuing to play towards what they see their win conditions are.
Incredible patience there. Giving up a dragon, it's only the second one. Giving up the Herald, you know, you already have the gold lead yourself here. They want to scale with the Ornn, with the Vayne, and they're still getting gold onto Dougla despite the fact that he had this kind of like huge camp up on the top side with LYON and Core JJ rotating up there for that first turret. And I think it speaks as well to just how much the team is starting to trust each other. Inspired is not just playing perma-carry junglers. He's playing the Malphite, the Nocturne, the Ornn to set up his team to be the primary characters.
Yep, and he has a lot of cooldown reduction, and especially with the Zeke's completed for your ultimate here, feels really, really nice. Can have it basically available for any scenarios.
So LYON, you know, he's one of our AD carries that definitely has the Lucian card. He's allowed to play it. He is very good on it. And it is Collector Rapid Fire. So you need to be getting in there and getting chunks, getting plays, which does mean you are at risk of getting engaged on, of getting charm flashed, of getting, you know, hit by an Ornn or something like that. But because it really is pretty low as far as the explosive engage, really besides something like a charm flash, he's got to play that line, right? He's got to be playing with confidence, being able to dodge skill shots, being able to dodge things out and create that damage. Because with this build, your consistent damage is just so low compared to some others.
The team needs you, as now it's a look onto Saint here. The Hextech Ultimatum and the Galio Ultimate not fully working, but enough. That's a shutdown over to Morgan, as they had enough damage to get the kill.
Yeah, even when they don't overlap. This combo is deadly. Beautiful camp here from Morgan, and just waits in the tribe rush. You know, they didn't see him, and they assumed it's just normal assignments with just Galio pushing down on the bottom side. So nice quick play for TL. Big rewards there. They chopped that gold lead down.
And even the timing, I think, was really smart because look at this wave. He gets up top and is able to catch that wave as well.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
it wasn't even as though you're getting punished with the tier 2 getting hit. You know, that timing was really, really good. Saw he had a window to try to make something happen. Ouch.
Yeah, Jan's going for those E plays right there. It almost just gets deleted. That summoner heal from Core JJ.
Yeah, the big old shield from Isles is enough to shield all of the Lucian damage, and Berserker lets him have it on the other side. Not going to result in much except for the early route into Dragon. They've got vision coverage through here, and they're going to start it up regardless.
So instead, Team Liquid are making a play on the other side of the map right now. Saint is the target here. Morgan's got his jungler behind him, but the Charm really chunks down Morgan with the Orb of Deception combo. And Saint can just pick up this wave, so really well played by LYON right there. And now, maybe looking at Quid here. Call the Forge God is used. Lands it. Oh, flashed by Quid as Team Liquid are able to escape. Saint also looks to chunk out Morgan more, but nobody dies on either side.
Yeah, getting Saint into the side lane versus the Camille is looking very good here because of Saint's position with his 2 items. And just steel caps on the Camille, especially when he's able to get the jump and an early chunk. Just 1 rotation of combos. Regardless, the biggest win there is the flash. So Quid on the Galio forced to flash that Ornn ultimate. We already said a lot of cooldown reduction for Inspired, especially for his ult. So Ornn ult is already 50% of the way through. Meanwhile, the Galio, no sums for the next fight, but they do have Rift Herald.
That time the damage does land from Jan onto Berserker. They drop the Herald, but it's not enough to actually crack the entire turret. Also, Berserker traded good damage back onto Jan. Ooh, yeah, that's gonna do it.
Yeah,
Trinity Force completed.
LYON just feels like he's losing out on these trades pretty heavily. They do have the Nami sustain, obviously, so you have to kind of keep going at it. But I mean, Berserker is just hitting every Mystic shot, and if you're connecting with that, the damage is really, really high. They did get a little bit back, obviously, in that mid lane, and now Jan's going to be working towards the Infinity Edge, which is really going to ramp up his damage. But you look over at the other side, Inspired is on his 3rd item. He has the Knight's Vow, so he's just going full supportive items now from this point. And now he's level 14, so he has the upgrade on the Protoplasm Harness, which gives both more health, but also more ability haste. So yeah, that ultimate cooldown is a minute now, so it is quite short, and that's even before the rank 3. At rank 3, it's going to go down another 10 seconds, so it is going to be up all the time.
Jan and Berserker again going for those little trades right there. Yeah, I mean, it's Berserker winning these slight trades currently, but when I used to think of Lucian, I always knew him as an earlier game 80 carry. I feel like he scales pretty well still into especially comps like this that are squishier, so you still got to respect it once he gets that IE. Currently, though, he just hasn't found those right trades onto Berserker, who has the team behind him. They're pushing for this mid wave. Nothing to fight over currently. Baron's up, but Dragon's going to be 2 minutes 45.
And you see Morgan is kind of just cheating his way up from bot lane. He's going to get spotted as he leaves that brush on the ward, though. But that ward was pinged out, so they're going to try to circumvent it.
And the thing with Ornn as your only tank here for LYON, they can play range very easily. Ornn ultimate is huge range, and all the other champions are so difficult to get chunks on. So it's actually TL that are forced to make the all-in call. They have to make these snap engages, and with the Ornn upgrade on Jan, he was already hurting. Now he's going to hurt even more with the Trinity Force upgrade. So if LYON can play their range correctly here, it becomes very painful for Team Liquid. Meanwhile, TL, you're looking at snap decision. We can't hesitate when we see the opening. We got a full send. We layer this Camille Galio. We get our Dream Engage. Nami Wave then comes through on top of it. And you can see how they could roll through the fight. But if you're allowed, as the super range team here with LYON, to like poke and prod and wait, they got one.
Just find a pick. Yeah, there it is. Again, the squishy Enchanter support.
They're going to go Baron.
Backing
They're just
in
gonna force
a
it.
very forward position, and Team Liquid found their window. They have a 5v4.
That was death by ward. The ward over the wall saw him. It's Core JJ's bubble, and now TL burning down the Baron.
LYON are going to have to find a way in here. Dokla's walking all the way up. Morgan has a deep flank around the buff. Not spotted currently. Dokla might just walk straight into him. Has Saint in the brush on vision. Team Liquid are holding damage on the Baron, not bursting it immediately. Don't want to look for the 50-50. In goes Morgan. Gets out of Berserker with the Galio on top. The Ezreal's out of the fight. And now they turn onto the front line. Inspired goes down. Saint dancing around. Will pick up one in response. Another charm. Dokla free firing. And LYON hold the line. Again, Saint goes in. Again, Saint finds a kill for his top laner. The solo lanes for LYON show up huge at the Baron and will push Team Liquid off.
You asked for a miracle, and Saint delivers. Holy! He is popping off this game. Huge performance on the Ahri, and Dokla gets the shine there. Ghost popped on the Vayne. They get to chase down. Look at the engage from Morgan over the wall.
Exactly. W Flash didn't really quite nail it, to be honest. He missed the W as well as the E, but flashes onto Berserker, gets the ult down. LYON pushes forward. They knock down Berserker, but the problem is right here. Look at the carries from LYON are completely untouched. Saint dashes to the side, is able to finish off LYON, and Dokla has so much consistent damage. Even with the numbers, they realize we've got no cooldowns, we've got no damage, we need to run.
Saint is crazy with it in that one.
He's popping off.
He wraps around, he assassinates the Lucian, still saves the charm for the follow-up kill, and then he Spirit Rush flashes to get another one. I mean, that is a deserved, play for LYON. Quite nice right there. Stay tuned if they win off of that play, and we'll hear from Dokla.
Still a long way to go, as it is going to be just tying up the Dragons here. It will be 2-2 as TL showcasing the power of their comp on the other side. But again, they are so much of this kind of like one-punch style. And they had to spend a lot to kill Berserker, especially because Morgan didn't really connect with the W, didn't connect with the E. Like, it was just kind of that flash ult, everything sent to kill this one guy.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yes, Berserker is a problem, but Dokla is the one with the consistent damage that can actually deal with your tank. So if they can find Dokla, I do feel like that is probably the better target.
And LYON was just in some trouble there too. Inspired was untouched, so he's able to land all of his CC onto Lucian, then Saint follows up on that, even on the Brittle with the Charm, so extra long CC there. The team fight's working out for LYON for right now, but their job is not done. They only have a 2,000 gold lead with even Dragon, so it's not like they just massively jumped ahead there, but I'm happy you're highlighting this, Azael. That is a third Ornn upgrade for Dokla now.
Yeah, and that is extra stats, right? So it doesn't show in the gold lead, but that is, a couple thousand gold extra on top. So when you're looking at it, it's probably more like 5,000 gold-ish worth of stats that are in their favor. And of course, again, when you're talking about a comp that has a lot of upfront damage, like TL's does when they're looking for this dive, the flat resistances from the double Mountain Dragon are going to be really effective as well.
And if you're going over, like, stats that are kind of hidden in values here too, usually for Mundo, you're thinking, oh, you're going to have a bunch of stacks on your Heartsteel.
40 health.
Ooh. Well, we've got,
that is
40.
2 procs.
The enemy team, as we said, it's mostly range, and then Ornn is this tank that can play from range because of his ult.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to get a lot of the stat value out of that item.
Let's see it.
Oh.
Donk, donk, donk.
Giving it to...
Maybe he didn't. Maybe he just
got out of there.
I think he just built for himself on the Rift, yeah.
Bob the Builder over there has the Abyssal now, so
yeah,
can amp up some more magic damage for the squad.
True. Help out Saint even more. Vayne have any AP scan? I don't think so. Some true damage, But name of the game really has been about these solo laners. Dokla with this counter pick in the top lane, a lot of resources that Team Liquid put to shut him down. He's still back in the game. It's not like a massive gold lead, but 2 kills plus the upgraded Ornn item. And Saint in particular is the lead. 2.4k gold just in the mid laner's pocket. He's been playing fantastic the whole time, and now that Dokla's reaching this kind of critical mass Vayne, it's going to be so hard for Team Liquid to punch back.
Fire just finished his clear on the bot side and just TP'd over towards Baron, so clearly wants to try to focus there, and obviously wants a different summoner for the fight. His flash is back up and available, so that's why he's just kind of cycling through that. Going to help them grab the crab here. And it's going to be tough for TL. Very dangerous position for them. I think it is super winnable, but the extra pressure because this is series point if you lose this game. And if you lose this game, you're not going to America's Cup. You're not going to first stand. Your split is done. You are done for, a month or two really at this point. So much pressure on TL. This is a roster that was built to win. Going out in fourth is not what they designed it for.
And you're playing a comp that has to work on this split-second timing, and they just lost the attempt around Baron last time, so LYON going to start it up this time.
Yep. Morgan's going to have to link up with the rest of the team, completes the back, has the teleport available, and LYON actually just back off instead, so they don't get the TP out of Team Liquid. Often when we see teams do that, they're happy to back off once that TP is used. Instead, this time they just say, nope, they have multiple members here, let's just not give them an opportunity.
Yeah, I think that is smart. They were hoping that they could rush it down. They have really high damage, obviously, with this Vayne, percent true damage onto that Baron, shreds it. Blade the Rune King or not, it doesn't matter. It's just kind of in the kit. But, once you're spotted, there's so much AoE, you got to be careful.
And now they're looking to siege in the mid lane here. Focus on the LYON. Call the Forge God is used, but he's able to sidestep it. Quid has to flash away. Meanwhile, Justice Punch back for some CC, but he's out of there. Dokla firing on a LYON. Saint finds the kill. LYON move forward, pouncing onto Team Liquid for daring to siege their turret. They can push the mid wave. Jose Dioto's got the Mundo ultimate. Blast Cone away. Dokla continues the chase. One slow there from the Q, but even Inspired's here. CC immune from Jose Dioto, so he's able to dodge that one, but the smite for the slow. Inspired continues the chase because they have the wave. If they can kill the Mundo, desynced, how much more can LYON get? They're not able to find him.
Yeah, Morgan, though, here to back him up. And remember now, Vayne has no flash, so if he oversteps, he could be in a bit of trouble. Great fight there for LYON, but the question is, are they going to be able to get the Baron? The answer, very likely yes. Jose obviously is up, but he has no flash and there's no blast cone, so no real shot of being able to steal this away. And LYON, I love how they're playing. I mean, sure, Morgan has TP, but he is split from the squad, and by the time the TP arrives, the fight is already completely destroyed.
Yeah. 4 range and Ornn ult, and you just completely decimate the fight because the Ornn ultimate pushes the rest of Team Liquid away, and look how they destroy the front line. Yeah, these guys are all out of it. You have to respect Ornn ult. Meanwhile, Quid is dead. Immediately deleted. Berserker over the wall. They're able to delete him. Saint is just going crazy this game, man.
Yep.
Ahri reset after Ahri reset. And that much offense allows Dokla to free tumble through these fights. You can tell he's having fun.
Yeah, and you can tell they're all on the same page because Dokla is ghosted, tumbling in onto LYON, but he's not on a solo mission. It's Saint flashing onto LYON. It's Inspired flashing onto LYON. It's all of them sending it, and they're in the fight again.
It's Dragon set up right now. The culling goes out. Flash actually just eat by Berserker right there. He's able to get out, and it is secured by Jose Dioto. We got a smite fight in the pit. Inspired cannot steal it, so that is a 3rd Dragon of Team Liquid, and they actually look like they're going to get out.
Yeah, and Morgan is in the area, was looking for a potential flank angle. TL have just not really been able to find that big engage that they're looking for to try to take over these fights, and it's been LYON just playing so well around the ring conditions. The 5th Ornn item just now came through, so all 5 are upgraded. You're up over 5,000 gold on top of that. This is a massive lead.
LYON have too many threats. They can't stomp out all of these threats. As long as these champions kind of spread out and give each other enough space, they just have too many weapons for Team Liquid to attack. You can dream, though. You can hope for the Mountain Soul. It's a long ways up, and you're going to have to do a lot of work to get there, but that's what your dream is for TL.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice dream, but even if you get it, the question is, how much of a difference does it make in a game like this where there is that Vayne who can just punch through
Where there
you?
is the Ornn as well. It gets flashed out of Morgan with the Call of the Forge God. Because, yeah, Team Liquid, they might not even get a chance to go for that Dragon. It looks like LYON, they're pushing hard with this Baron. They cracked the middle turret. They're now on the top turret as well. Saint takes a huge chunk right there from LYON. Still need to respect the Lucian in the late game. So LYON don't get another turret, but still, they have started to crack the base of Team Liquid.
Yeah, as soon as they push Saint back, the rest of LYON immediately back off. They know that TL would be looking for that Camille Galio. I'll try to find a play there. And LYON just playing to their win conditions so incredibly well all series long. Really cool drafting coming through, utilizing these ranged top laners, utilizing the counter pick like the Aurelia. And credit to Dokla, not only is it the team playing around him, but it's Dokla having confidence in an elimination series against Morgan, who everyone is hyping up as this godlike top laner, to bring out these picks and to perform on them on the stage.
Dokla winning a series with a bunch of counter picks that are rarely seen and first time even, some of them in the LCS. Castle won with the Nasus when he said, "Deadass, just trust me, it's a Nasus game." Maybe teams should start trusting their top laners with these counter picks more. LYON is...
Some top lane propaganda as LYON just eliminated, deleted. Sent straight to the gray screen as LYON find a pick on the 80 carry.
I mean, he just kind of walked through their jungle blind and gets killed for it. And now this could be the end. This could be the end of TL here in this split.
Not the expectation that most of us had. Power ranked aggregate #1 Team Liquid. They were a best of 1 away from not even making playoffs. And now LYON, with these counter pick top laners with cleaner team play, are pushing them to the brink. 15 seconds for LYON to spawn. Team Liquid have 4 to defend. Morgan's going for a flanking TP play, but LYON don't need to look at it necessarily. The Hexacle ultimatum, they're going in onto Dokla, but he's out of there. Inspire gets chunked down a little bit, but Jose Dioto as well. And now Quid is the target, goes into the stasis. Dokla unleashed, chasing down Morgan, who turns it back around. Big chunk out of Big Dogs.
Gone back.
And now LYON has respawn. So Quid falls, but in tags. TD carry the charm from Saint finds LYON. And that's gotta be the game. That's gotta be the series. That's gotta be LYON overtaking Team Liquid in the organization's first run in playoffs in North America. They're starting with another win down here in the bottom lane, going to Brazil and continuing their lower bracket run.
And look how pumped up they are. LYON with such an impressive series there, taking down TL 3-1, continuing their route of the lower bracket. 3-0 in the last series, 3-1 in this one. They are now guaranteed to go to Brazil, whether it is first stand or America's Cup remains to be determined, but an impressive performance from draft to play to coordination. LYON is leveling up.
They are looking so good here. The Lions are ferocious, and they're coming. They are coming for that lock-in.
They're
trophy.
hunting. They're hungry, Kobe.